welcome to this stream. We are here to talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And just so you know, this is sponsored content. Hold on a minute.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad, exclamation mark,
Hashtag ad.
FF.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, this is sponsored content. Thank you to Square Enix for sponsoring us. Although it's one, I feel like this is one of those streams where we want to talk about Final Fantasy. We're all Final Fantasy nerds. We're kind of into it, right?
Yes.
So yeah, and I'm guessing we're all hype for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right?
I'm excited.
Very much so.
Very excited.
Very excited. So I guess I should probably introduce everyone. Although I feel like the nerdy kid amongst all the cool kids. So I feel like everyone knows who everyone else.
Kim is the cool one.
No, I am not. I'm the old grumpy one.
Hang on, I don't have any audio. 1 second.
Duncan doesn't have any audio. This is great. That's Duncan, top right there. No audio. Welcome.
I can hear you. I don't know. I mean,
That's the main thing.
We can hear you.
Everything
absolutely
good,
no
chat?
problem.
Wait, I do have audio. Okay, hang on. Ooh.
People on my channel, I haven't streamed for ages,
okay,
so let me know if
good.
I've broken everything. I already broke the login, so. But yes, in top left, we have Boba. Say hello, Boba.
Hi, I've played Final Fantasy VII, the original, within the last 3 years was the first time that I played it. I have not played Remake yet, so I want to do that, of course, before I start Rebirth, but I'm excited.
Very excited. And then next up, in the top middle, we have G.
Hello. I have played both. What? Somebody was going to say
You've
something.
got a lovely cat with you. I've just.
I do.
Which one is that? Is that Eddie?
That's Ellie. She's come
Ellie.
to join. She's
Ellie.
joined me to talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, aren't you, girl?
And she's played all of them, right?
She's played all of them. She's a massive fan. But yeah, I've played the original long time ago. The remake is just chef's kiss, honestly. It's so well done. I'm so excited to get my hands on the second part. Like, because it's like split into multiple parts. I'm just like, oh, I gotta have patience. But
Yeah, because it's a trilogy, right? So there's gonna be like another one in another 4. Because it's 2020, so we're in 2024. It's going so long.
One per console generation, I think.
I don't even want to think about how old we'll be when that comes out.
I didn't even want to.
4 years from now.
When it comes out, we'll be getting nostalgic. But not for the original.
For
but
the remake.
The remake.
the remake. We'll be like, oh, I remember this game.
Oh no.
I mean, as someone who's maybe turning the big 4-0 this year,
Let's go.
let's carry on and talk to who is number 3. That is in the top right. That is Duncan. Hello, Duncan. How are you? And what is your relationship with Final Fantasy VII?
I played 7 when I was at school, like maybe like year 8, I guess. So like 12, 13 years old. And then I played the remake when it came out, and I played the Yuffie bit, and I loved it, and it's all good.
Is it Yuffie or Yuffie?
I'd always say it's you.
Oh, I always called her
Yuffie.
Yuffie when I was a kid, but I didn't really know.
See,
Like,
that's what when you come from our age of things, right? You did not have like nothing was voice acted, so you had to kind of guess. Like,
and then whatever you picked back then is what you.
like
Eris.
Eris.
It was called Eris. So.
Yeah, that was a translation error, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, not error or just a quirk, but yeah, they've fixed that now, I guess, with the. But yeah, in the bottom middle we have OC. Hey, OC.
Hello.
Tell us about your relationship with Final Fantasy.
I'm Ozzy. I'm so excited. Holy goodness me. I was just saying to my chat, I just finished playing the demo of Rebirth, and it's so good. I recommend you all to go and play it because it's incredible. If you follow our links in chat, you can see all the details about downloading it there. I first played the original though. I think, gosh, this was years ago. Like my ex-boyfriend, I think, got me into 7. And what a weird story. But, and yeah, it kind of sparked what is like a lifelong love of all Final Fantasy games. But I think 7 is one of the ones for me that is like, it's up there. It's definitely one of the best. Yeah, great story.
Absolutely. And in the bottom right, we are joined by Ped Queen. Hello, Ped.
Hello. How's it going? Yeah, no, I played the originals back when I was in like primary school or whatever. But yeah, I've replayed them a couple of times over the years as well. But I think last year I played the remake when it first came out, but I didn't finish it. But then last year I was like, okay, I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna completely finish it, and I did it in one go. It was amazing. Not one sitting, but
Yeah, just
like
yeah,
because it's
once.
very
Not
very long.
distracted.
It's very
Yeah.
very long. Which is a good thing. I really really enjoyed it. Yeah, just the nostalgic. I think when I bought it on like release, the remake, and just like the opening scene where the music's coming in, like
Yeah.
that right there, I was like, okay, that was worth all my money. I could put this
Yeah,
down and be
honestly.
happy.
Yeah.
It was just so good. It's like everything I imagined.
I remember
when-
you watching me play a little bit. Like it was during that the scene with the motorbikes when
Right.
there was like that guy using
Yeah.
his motorbike. to,
Rush,
like,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
so
Okay.
so cracked.
They cranked
so
it up.
good.
They
Yeah.
cranked up the
Your character,
anime.
right, Rush?
And then last but not least, I am Kim. Hi, everybody. I am that
Hi.
relic from the past.
Hi,
I first played Final Fantasy actually when I got a PlayStation. So I was always a Nintendo kid. And then my half brother was like, you need a PlayStation in your life, and bought me the PlayStation X. So not the original PlayStation 1, but the updated model. And the first thing he bought me was Final Fantasy 7. So I
Ooh.
even still have the original like 4-disc
I was
and
gonna say,
instruction manual.
Wow,
4
that's-
discs.
looks like a
Multiple
good
discs.
edition as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that
And
why
then-
you think they're capitalizing on this with our like nostalgia? Is that why they're releasing it in bits? It's like
think
we've
so.
lost the
It's such a-
CDs.
I thought it's
Such a
3
long game.
discs. I guess.
I like
I'm-
yeah. Kim called herself a relic, and she's wearing a T-shirt with fossils on it.
Yeah, I,
Oh my
thought, you know,
gosh.
I will inhabit it. I will be it. I will wear it. I am it. And also an instruction manual. Do you remember that? Do you children remember
I
instruction
miss-
manuals?
I
Yes.
loved those.
them.
I
I
would
would
go
re-
and
yeah, I'd
get a
read 'em.
game from the store, and then
Yeah.
I'd come home and I'd take a bath and I'd read it in the
Yeah.
bath before I got
Aw.
to play it. That
I'd
was
always
like
read
my
them on the car
favorite.
home.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
it.
you read them on
Fine.
the way home, or
Yeah.
if you had finished like the game, or you know, like if you only had a couple of games, that was like part of the experience. Like I'm gonna
Mm.
consume the manual.
Oh,
Even
you
better if they
rinse
had
it.
illustrations in it
Yes.
too.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, this one's got like profiles on all the characters. So it's got like their age, their job,
Yeah.
their height, their birthday,
That's
and their
more information
birthplace.
than you get in the game.
yeah.
Well, that's the backstory, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like Sid is like 32, and everyone calls him old man and grandpa, and it's like, ooh.
That's
Oh my
sad,
gosh,
isn't it?
did you? So he was not in the first part, right? He's going to be
No.
in the second one. His voice acting, I watched the trailer, and his super cool country accent, I was like losing my mind. He just sounded so cool. I was like, I want to be friends with Sid. He's a cowboy.
nice.
I think
He's a
I always
cowboy.
liked him in the original one because like he was always smoking and
Yeah.
cussing, and I was like, oh my god, he's so
He's
cool.
so
Yeah.
cool.
Oh my god, you said he's in his 30s. Oh.
And they called him an
Yeah.
old man.
Yeah. Oh my
There's
god.
always one though, isn't there? Oh, they always have a Sid in a game. They always
Yeah.
They
have
do.
Yeah, that's one of the
Yeah.
crossover things, and a Biggs and a Wedge, and well, I
Those
guess,
are
like,
Ped's
Moogles,
favorite.
Chocobos, that kind of thing.
Well, they're from Star Wars.
That
Yeah.
were a reference to Star Wars originally.
Oh my gosh.
And then was just like, I guess we're keeping them.
So
Right.
I guess why are we excited to play Rebirth? Like why are people really hyped? Because I'm really hyped. I've got it in my calendar. I'm kind of secretly booking holiday. Well, as a self-employed freelancer can, but I'm just like, yeah, hold on my calls. This is
Yeah.
it. But yeah, who wants to go first?
Well, I watched the
can start-
trailer. What is it? Costa
Yeah,
del
we can-
Sol?
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you
Bikini
see?
ladies.
Forget bikini ladies. You've got Sailor, what's his name?
Barrett.
He's got
Barrett, yeah.
a sailor's costume on. He looks so cute.
Kate Shee as well. I'm excited for Kate Shee and Vincent. I'm excited to see Vincent in this.
Oh, isn't Vincent
Um,
voiced by Matt Mercer this time around too? Is that?
Oh,
I
is
think
he?
so. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
That man gets
That's a
everywhere.
good choice.
Well, that was like I
He's,
think his dream role as well. I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, there's all
Great.
these new characters being introduced, all the nostalgic characters. There's gonna be.
Oh, sorry. Go on, Ozzy. Go, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say there's gonna be a lot of like plot twists in this next one. There's gonna be so much happening without trying to. If we're spoiling anything, by the way, I mean, how long's it been? You should know. And also, this is an indication for you guys to also like go and get it, play it, consume this, because the story is so good and it's gonna get so good. I can't wait. I really can't wait.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what is different to the original.
Yeah, because there's been a few.
Aren't we, kind of?
Yeah, because there's something I'm slightly confused about, but I feel like it might be explained by flashbacks. Is the inclusion of Zack, because so Zack was kind of Cloud's mentor.
He's going to be dead.
Without doing too big spoilers, he's kind of the reason Cloud has a big Buster Sword. And it's hinted in, well, it's not hinted, it's explicitly said in Remake that he was Aerith's first boyfriend. So, and I've seen in the trailer there's like a bit more about Zack in that. So I was like, are they going to include, because there was Crisis Core that came out on the PSP, but then also came out on PC last year, I think it was, which was all about Zack's story, and like it was set 10 years before Final Fantasy VII. So I'm like, are they kind of bringing that in and like smushing that in as kind of like flashbacks and stuff like that?
Isn't the Zack cutscene in Remake was like a parallel universe, right? Because the dog was different.
What, Red 13?
No, there's like the dog, it's like a beagle
Stamp,
with a helmet.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
in the Zack cutscene, he was like a fluffy, different dog.
So yeah, there are different, like also the whispers, and like the fate thing that's playing out in there.
Yeah.
I think that might be a hint to possibly of things being slightly different. And
Well, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is supposed to be different. Like the way that like things are playing out, it's like a reimagining, but they're trying to sort of stick to some original elements, but they're changing things. And I hope that means that who doesn't,
Well, I was wondering about that because I'll keep it from being spoiled too, but like I feel like that's such an important part of the game that I don't know how you could absolve that without actually doing it. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I would be on the side of I don't think that part should be changed just because it's sad, I guess.
I agree.
I want
keeping
tears.
us on our toes.
It's a pivotal like plot point as well, and it happens very soon on. Like if you know what we're talking about,
Just be,
And I think how shocked you are when that happens is like, for new players, I feel like that's an important thing to experience too.
Yeah, because it definitely was one of those big gaming moments.
Yeah.
I think when everyone does articles of like gaming moments that shocked you, like it's definitely one of
it's
those.
up there.
Number 3 will shock you.
Yeah.
We're gonna get rid of that though. That's I in my opinion, if they removed that, it would take away like the whole point of becoming. Well, it's like you become emotionally invested in a lot in pretty much every character. They're written so well, and I think that's what Remake especially did so well, and why I'm so excited for this next installment of Rebirth, because you're excited to see the development of the characters and like things like chocobo racing, the golden saucer stuff.
Saucer.
Oh my
gosh,
like...
what's in this trailer was the dolphin one, and I was like,
yes,
oh my god,
say.
the dolphin! I'm so excited for the dolphin. And this one, it's like a full little mini game too, with like jumping through hoops and like all kinds of stuff. So that looks really fun.
They do love their mini games in the Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, I'm just playing through a Remake, and I've just got to chapter 10, which means I've just done a bit of the wall garden mini game, so like the squats mini game and the honeybee in dance mini game, which is the best thing ever.
That was so good.
That is the best part of the game, hands down.
So good.
I spent way too long squatting, honestly.
Same.
But like because my husband is like, he's not a gamer, but he knows that Final Fantasy is big for me, and 7 is like up there for me. But he's always thought of Final Fantasy 7 as quite serious, because it can be, right? Like it's quite quite a serious plot, quite an emotional plot, like big themes of like capitalism and climate change and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he happened to sit down with me when I got to that that bit, and I think he was like, "This is not what I was expecting."
Yeah.
Like a full-on dance routine
Mhm.
and like a glow up, like.
That whole
Well, did
section
you
is just
do
madness.
did you do the hand massage?
Oh my
Mm.
gosh, that one.
Pamper my boy.
Oh
Yeah,
my
but
gosh.
did you do the ultimate hand massage?
Yeah, you.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
Yeah, if you
I
pay
checked
enough,
out.
yeah, you get some
Yeah.
interesting
Dialogue.
moans.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
right.
not new though for Final Fantasy because they did it in 10-2 too, which was me
Yeah.
playing that on my family television and my mom being like, "What are you doing?" So
What?
I think
What
that's
is
when I quit that
happening?
game.
yeah. But they've got, it looks like, when I was watching everything, it does look like they've kept a lot of the like, I don't know. I feel like part of the fun of some JRPGs is like that they're silly sometimes too. Because I'm playing through some other ones and there's like a lot of like silly, ridiculous moments. And in the trailer, there's quite a few things where they'll have a character reveal and it's kind of like silly. But I think that's really important too. Because it is from the source material.
Yeah, that's what makes it so like quirky and nice though, because it has a lot of its serious moments, but then when it takes it's like a slice of life, right? And it takes a moment to not take itself so seriously, and that's what I love about Final Fantasy, and I think they've done it so well in like the first part. So can't wait for what they're gonna do for the Rebirth. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think it just like replaying remake like reminded me how much funnier they made Cloud, because Cloud was just quite serious and a bit of an asshole in
Very
the original
moody.
one.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he's just so funny and quite sweet. I think, especially as he breaks out of his grumpy, traumatized ex-soldier persona. But like, I just love the line early on, like I think in chapter 4 when Wedge gets bit on the butt by a dog, and like at the end of the at the end of the mission, he's like, "Sorry about your ass."
Oh my
Just the most
gosh.
deadpan. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not your bro, but I'm sorry about your ass.
I think that's why it's like so great that they decided to. Well, when games like that do get remade, and you can actually see the facial expressions now and the inflections of the
Yeah.
voice acting, because as we were saying before, we had to kind of like imagine how it was being said when we originally played it, because you didn't have the voice acting, you just had the written dialogue. So just trying to imagine Cloud not saying those things in a bit of a surly and serious way was very difficult, because that's how he kind of comes across. But yeah, it's great how they've developed him much more in the remake and in the Rebirth as well.
I wonder, so Kim, I was watching the trailer and I think you're like the most knowledgeable about it, so I'll ask you.
Uh-oh, here we go.
There were people that were excited to see Gilgamesh and then Sisini or something, and I don't know who they are. So is there a way that you can talk about them that is like, I don't know how spoilery they are or whatever?
Gilgamesh is
I'll be
a summon,
honest.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Gilgamesh is a summon, and well, there's sometimes a monster, but sometimes a summon. I'll be honest, you put me on the spot. I
Okay.
don't remember. But like for me, I think Gilgamesh immediately makes me think of summons, and I think that's one thing again I love about all Final Fantasy is the summons, and I love how they brought them into Rebirth and Remake. As a bit more of like, because before it was like you built up your gauge, you summon them, they did their cool thing. Like if it was one of the end game summons, like Knights of the Round, it was a 10-minute cutscene that you couldn't skip.
And then you
But in
pass
this
4
one, you can
times.
control them and interact with them a bit more, and like direct them in what to do, and it just feels so kick-ass like doing that.
Well, it's also not turn-based anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's like a whole other
be.
thing. And well, a lot of people were sort of on the fence about. I personally love the free-flowing, like button mashing type sort of combat that they've introduced to it. And I think they've done it really well. It's not jarring. It's not like
Yeah.
you
I think
know.
it was particularly good with the Yuffie like combos that
Yeah.
you could do.
Yeah. And
Well-
they're also fun to play with, right? Like they're all
Yeah.
like very sort of different to
Different,
each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's in the demo you get to play as Sephiroth as well.
Well, excuse me, guys. I gotta go.
This is why you need to play it. It's so good, and the way that they sort of do this, the backstory in the demo is just it's so good. The interactions between Sephiroth and Cloud as well are like insanely. It's so interesting, but the combat in the demo is really good. There's like like combos that they can do together as well, which is I think a new thing.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. There's like a synergy one that I saw that Barrett and Aerith were doing, and when they do it, she's using her staff almost like a machine gun, and she puts on sunglasses to match him. It's so cute.
That sounds incredible. So there's that new
gosh.
addition to the combat, which I think will be so exciting to try out all the different combinations of characters and who you have in your party.
You bring up Sephiroth. Did you notice how absolutely girly pop he is?
Oh my gosh, what a...
It's always been girly pop.
I know,
Yeah.
but he's
Right?
girly
That
pop in the
hip swagger.
flesh now. Oh my gosh, he really is. He did like a hair flip in the trailer, and I was like, oh my gosh, who is this?
I feel like they've definitely leaned into that kind of a bit more, and dare I say, a bit of the homoerotic tension between him and Cloud, because
Oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness.
these two are gayer than I
Yes.
remember. Like whenever they're in a scene together, and they're just like leaning in like that, and he's like whispering in Cloud's ear, like, "You remember this?" And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, guys! Like, are we just full on leaning and accepting this
We're
right now?
reinvigorating the fan fiction is what we need to do.
I definitely feel like they've done a lot of fan service to that, that combination, because yes, the demo, once again, there's a lot of like tension between these two guys, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only person that picked up on this. Like, I feel like they've made
just
them
need to
extra. Yes.
I mean, going off of the honeybee segment where like the guy who like gives him the makeover is very extra, very camp and flamboyant. He's like, "Don't be afraid to be who you want to be, Cloud." And I'm just like, "Oh my god, what is happening in this segment?"
Yeah, like I know all the girls are pretty much like throwing themselves on him, like Jessie and Tifa and Aerith and all that, and I'm just like, but what if he is just gay and he's just only got eyes for Sephiroth?
Maybe he's bi.
Yeah, or he's bi.
bi.
Yeah. But yeah, I love it. Ped, what is your favorite moment in Final Fantasy VII? Could be the originals, could be the remake.
I like in the remakes where they kind of like change. So when there is like a point in the story where it kind of like diverts from the original, that's kind of when like the ghosts show up and stuff, and it's kind of like
Yeah.
Never clued that. Thank you for teaching me that.
yeah, no, because like it happens throughout. It's like every time it kind of. I think when you get further and further into the game, it kind of like points it out to you as well at some points. It's
Do you have any
like
theories about where they came from?
yeah, so I think that's what it's all about. It's like, this is an alternate universe, but
Do you think like Sephiroth has like sent them back from the future or something?
Yeah, is this some interesting stuff? But yeah, I just like the mystery of, it's obviously tied to the main game because it's a remake, but they're obviously making it different. They're obviously going in different directions, and they're making that part of the game as well, like with the ghosties popping up and stuff. And I'm just kind of curious where they go, because they could just completely change the ending. The ending might not be anywhere near.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think the longer it goes on, like the more it will divert.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
yeah, I think so too.
I saw people theorizing that there could be like even integrated 3 different timelines within this game too, which that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot for me to keep track of. But I kind of like that because when I was thinking about playing Final Fantasy VII when I was younger, I had a PSP at the time, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just try out Crisis Core and see how that is. And I don't think I got around to playing it, but I feel like there's, even though I know that Zack exists, when I played Final Fantasy VII, which was not too long ago, I feel like I didn't really get enough information about his character at all, or like his role in things. So I hope they integrate that a bit more, and I think maybe they will. Obviously, Aerith was talking about her boyfriend and stuff, so I hope, since a lot of people probably didn't play Crisis Core to get that background of him, I hope that's kind of like more integrated, because it is important, I would would think.
Oh no, it's very important. yeah.
Like him and Cloud.
Can I share with you one of my most embarrassing working moments ever when I was a journalist in the office? So there was a day, so I had to do the review of Crisis Core when it came out on PSP, and my colleague came around the corner and was watching me play, and I was playing. I got to the end and all that, and I was just crying my heart and my soul out. And this is probably the only video game that's really like just, I don't know, like got such a response out of me, and I was just bawling my eyes out, just in the middle of the office, like surrounded by everyone. They're like, "Are you okay?"
Yes.
I was like,
No.
Just working.
That was me. That was me with 10. I came out of my room
gosh, yes.
and I was just distraught. And my mom thought I was like injured. She was like, "Did you break
Oh
your
my
arm?
God.
Like what?" She's like, "What's
my
wrong?
God.
Do I need to call an ambulance?" And I remember I exhaled so hard and I went, "My video game was sad." And she just looked at me and she's like, "Go back in your room." Like, so I think that's like what's so good about these two is they really do suck you in and they make you
Oh yeah.
feel for everyone.
Yeah. That was me with 14. Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, my precious boy bands. The ending is
15.
iconic, and it's just like, was it? No, 15 was the
15 was the lads on tour.
15.
Yeah.
Lads
Lads
on
on
Tour.
tour. Sorry.
Yeah.
16 is the latest one. Sorry.
Yeah.
That I love that game. I replayed it like twice now, even though it's
never
like such a
played it.
good
Really?
game.
I've not
Interesting.
played
Oh,
it yet.
yeah.
I have to check
Very
it out then,
different.
if it's got a G
It's very-
approval.
It's very good. I like. So one thing that Square Enix and Final Fantasy games know how to do well is relationships and how they bond, and like just like all the stuff that they go through. And this is like definitely that one is just one of the ones that like
Okay.
they show. Case really well how Earth, and my god, it's just like things are obviously ramping up and they're obviously going through a lot of things together, and it's going to get to like a really intense point, and we're all going to cry a lot, I
Yep.
think. So
No.
oh, I'm so
We'll have to
excited.
take a picture of ourselves
Yes. Oh my gosh.
once we
Yeah.
see how on what level of
like
I have to learn how to
makeup
put
ruined or
eyeliner just so I
these
can
red
ruin it.
eyes we have.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
it's interesting because like I think one of my like Bo was saying, I think Final Fantasy X was like my first real like
You never forget your first Final Fantasy.
and that one I think it came out around the same at the time that we were sort of prime for like those emotional stories. Like I think we're probably like 13. Is it about 13 years old, 14 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that anyway.
Yeah.
But I also really enjoyed 12. I feel like 12 is such an underrated.
Yeah, it's always
Final
the one that's
Fantasy.
forgotten about. I
It
think.
is, and it's
Yeah.
so good. It's
Yeah.
really, really good. The combat is kind of not similar, but it was not turn-based. And I remember
It was,
a lot of people really disliking it because of the
Yeah.
combat system being different. But I think it was one of the best like additions to it, and I think that about Remake. I feel like the
Yeah.
combat's engaging, the gameplay is really fun. It hasn't taken anything away from the story or the game or Final Fantasy as a sort of franchise. So it's good to play differently, I think.
Well, I mean that's the secret to why Final Fantasy is still a hot game. Like some, let's see, what 1990s to now, that's 30 some years. And like it's still like a hot thing because it keeps changing, it keeps innovating, it keeps updating. There's some missteps along the way, like let's not look at Final Fantasy 13, which has its charms, but it had a little bit of a fumble with kind of the pacing. And how they kind of like, it was, quite a long stretch at the beginning before it opens up. But I'd say like my first Final Fantasy was 6. So that was the last of the pixel era. And I just loved how big it was. I was just like, you get an open world, you get a party that you can customize to the nth degree, and 70 hours. It was my first game where I was like, 70 hours of gameplay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. This is my whole
It's
life.
long, isn't it?
Yeah. So like I must say, like, because I came from all of that turn-based combat, like the ATB gauge and all that. So when it started becoming kind of more like real-time combat, especially with Remake, I must admit when I first picked up Remake, I really struggled because I was just like, it's moving so
We've
fast.
got
and
the
I don't
old
know what's
people
going on.
reflexes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we
Yeah.
rely on
I
our
actually
turn-based.
played
I gotta
it.
think about it.
I played it all in the turn-based mode.
I think
Really?
I might have done that as well,
Yeah.
Duncan.
Ah,
Yeah.
But then I
okay.
played the Yuffie one in real time, and I actually thought, I was like, oh, why didn't I do this in the other one?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, like, I went away and played Elden Ring and got better at blocking, and then suddenly I was like, oh, I'm so much better at this now. And like we were saying earlier, like just how different, like realizing just how different everyone was, and then like getting used to jumping between them and juggling like all the different effects, and like it's just really satisfying when you get it right and learn how to block. That was a big thing for me.
I think that's what makes it so good for like the people who have played the original and like anyone new coming into the franchise, right? So you've got like people who are used to the turn-based stuff and transitioning over into like the newer combat where you can stick like Duncan and Ped did, with like more of the old school elements. That's what makes it so good. That's what like they know what the fans want, and they're trying to keep it fresh but also trying to maintain what makes it so special and so good. So I think they've nailed it for sure.
So deep question now. I'm gonna start with Boba, just because you're above me. Who is your favorite Final Fantasy VII character, and pourquoi?
Ooh.
Could be a background character. Doesn't have to be one of the main lot.
Wedge.
I know. I was gonna. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh my
Wedge.
god, that wedge.
Wedge.
I don't know. I think
Chadley.
Chadley,
Fucking
yeah.
Chadley.
Never.
I think I'll go basic, basic bitch, and I'll just say I really like Aerith, but I think it's because I feel like part of why I really like her is her theme, because I feel like that is just like one of my favorite video game themes of all time, and it's just like a very emotional theme. I don't know, she cute, she got a little dress on, I don't know.
She's
I like her.
important.
Yeah,
very
that too.
important as
She's
well.
very
like-
important.
I think, she's it's a hard question, is that?
Yeah,
Very hard
because
question.
I could also say like there's a walking cat that has a big fat Moogle. Like, why would I not choose him either? The little meow meow. But yeah, I would say Aerith, but I think a lot of it is the theme that goes along with it.
What about you, G?
I always really liked Vincent like a lot, but I think it's because I was like attracted to Vincent. I always like anytime I would draw, because I used to draw a lot back in the day. I used to draw like Cloud, and like I drew Vincent a bunch. But I found him really cool, and I really liked how they sort of brought them to life in what's the Advent Children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
so
that was like
what a-
Reno. I was like, get out of here. This is my man.
So good. Like
Those-
in Advent Children, they're
Yeah.
chef's kiss. Yeah, I like Vincent. Like you said, there's so many amazing characters. It's so hard to choose. But yeah, I'll go with Vincent. I think it's pretty cool. Reno's funny.
Yeah.
He's a funny, likable character, especially what's the other guy that's with him?
Rude.
They call him Turks.
Yeah.
It's Rude, yeah. Yeah, so many good characters.
They're great together. I'm changing my answer. I forgot Reno. My man. My love.
But are you
Yeah.
gonna double them up though? Because I feel like if you have one, you have to have the other.
They're both great. I do like their interactions
Rude
together.
just
But
grunts, right? He's just
Yeah.
like
I think it's like what? It's the classic straight man, and then the other one. It's not gay.
Yeah.
It's the funny man or whatever. I always get them confused.
yeah. What about people in chat? Let's get your favorite characters.
Yeah.
As well. We want to. I want to see what people.
Get 'em
I
in,
wanna
get
see
'em
a
in.
Consensus.
And while we get them gathered up, Duncan, who's your fave?
It's either Sid or Red. I
Mm.
think probably Sid.
Mm.
But I do like Red.
Red Skull.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's doggy puppy boy.
He's doggy,
Good boy.
Did you
He's
hear
like-
his little
he's a
voice
good
in the
boy.
trailer?
Yes, he's a good boy. So
They were like,
smart.
"Oh, how do our bathing suits look red?" And he looked at the ground. He went, "They look great."
Do you know what, that little scene actually cracked me up when Tifa and Aerith come down in their bathing suits, because Aerith is obviously full of color and rainbows and Tifa's just like in the most goth bathing suit ever, and it just reminded me of that meme of like the two sisters, like the rainbow sister and the goth sister.
Yeah, the
I was
houses
just like, this is
next to each other.
perfect.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Ped, who's your fave?
Wedge.
Wedge. Why? Why is
I-
Wedge your boy?
Well, the voice actor is Badger from Breaking Bad.
Of
That's
course.
true.
Yeah,
I just
Oh my
love like
gosh.
the raspy the voice he's got.
Mm.
I couldn't get
Um,
over that the whole time. I
And
just kept seeing Badger.
yeah, it's so good. And yeah, he's like such a prominent character in the remake. Compared to the original. I feel like in the original he wasn't
Bit more background. Yeah.
he wasn't all over the place. And
Die in the original? I can't remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is
they
he
did.
from
Yeah.
the original? Like he was in the start where they're running around with Jesse and everybody, or
Yeah, so they're
Okay.
in the first three when
Yeah.
you infiltrate the first Mako reactor.
okay,
But yeah, they die.
in
Yeah.
the original.
When I was
Yeah,
at
the
that
original.
part in the remake, I was so worried. I was like, no, please no. Please no.
Not
And I
my
think
sweet
it-
boy.
Yeah, and I think it got to the part, and then the ghost started appearing, and then I was like, oh my god, is
Maybe.
what's happening? And then yeah, like he's fine, right? I if I'm remembering correctly, he's fine. He's fine.
I'm
Ped
gonna
just
say
head
yes,
canon
Ped.
Tim.
He's fine. I'm like, do I remember correctly?
Hope.
He's okay, right?
Hope.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
In your
he did
world,
survive. Like,
He's alive.
yeah.
which is
I'm pretty
weird
sure
because
they
that's something that's
survived.
changed, right? That's
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
thing that's changed.
Well,
He's got the cats, remember?
yeah.
The
oh,
little,
What a
little
guy.
cat in the,
Saves
in
his
the
cats,
slums
that's
He's
area.
right.
googling it. Ped's googling it.
I'm,
Does he
I'm
live?
googling
Furious
like a list
Googling.
of the changes of the original.
I do remember there was a character that should have died that didn't, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to. Again, I don't want to say too much about what happens in those beginning bits in case anybody does want to. You should definitely play remake. It's great. If anyone here hasn't played it, go and play it. It's so good. But I still think a lot of people do die that are meant to die.
Yes,
Yeah.
but not
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
And also, I think another big shock at that start was in the remake, because I was like, wait, Jesse's not a boy? Because of course, I mean,
Oh.
Jesse is like a gender neutral name. So when I played it
Right.
originally, I thought Jesse was just another one of the boys.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I
thought
did
they
as
were
well.
girl.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought
I
they were
always
boy
thought
when
they
I
were
was-
girl.
when I was
Yeah.
younger.
What I thought.
Well, she's very sexualized, like sexual, and like
Yeah.
she's like when she's on the back of the bike with Cloud, she's like,
Yeah.
like getting all.
Gonna hold.
Yeah, I was like,
Squeeze the life out of you.
Big difference from the original.
Yeah.
Osi, who's your favorite Final Fantasy VII character? I mean, I'm guessing Red, but you know.
I mean, I do love Red. I have a lot of appreciation for Barrett. I love Barrett. I think as well, like how they've brought Barrett to life in remake with like the back and forth of like the banter between Barrett, Tifa, and Cloud is great, especially when you're doing the staircase. If you choose to like run the whole way, oh my gosh, that's like one of the best moments in that game. I love it so much. Barrett, I think, yeah, Barrett, Tifa, and I love Cloud as well. It's hard to choose, honestly. I
Yeah.
love all these characters so much. And I think the more I play, the more I'm thinking about it, like there are so many good ones, even like smaller characters, like Jesse's dad that's just in that bed.
Yeah.
It's just, do
Genova.
you remember him? No,
Oh,
Jesse,
yeah.
Jesse's
Yeah,
dad
yeah.
who's got Mako poisoning.
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
just laying there
When you
the
break
whole.
into a house, yeah.
You break into a house, and I was taking pictures of him.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
I think I did that too. I remember taking, I don't know why though.
What?
Jesse's,
Take a selfie
Jesse's
with him.
godfather.
Bruh.
God. Oh, man.
But that's also a great thing to see as well. Like they've actually gone over some of Jessie's backstory with, you know, why she joined Avalanche and
Yeah.
You know, all
yeah,
those,
she's got
like-
a lot of character stuff fleshed
yeah.
out.
How about you, Kim? Who's your favorite?
Again, I'm kind of stuck in that everyone is a precious bean and I love them all and I would
Mhm.
die for them. But I'm gonna go between NPCs. I really have a thing for Madam M because she comes across as so prim and proper, and then there's that bit in the Colosseum moment where she just cusses up a storm. Like, you know, she drops her facade and just goes on like a 5-minute rant and diatribe, and I'm like, I feel that. I feel that energy. And I also just love her kimono and I love her style. And I love how she likes seeing her friends' robots getting beaten up. But then also because I am a thirsty human being, Sephiroth, it's got to be Sephiroth.
See, I was
can't-
wondering if you'd be
Yeah.
a Vincent or a Sephiroth.
No, I was Sephiroth. I can see Vincent. I totally get that. I do have the red and black aesthetic. But like when I think like when G, you were saying that you drew a lot of these. I wrote a lot. I wrote a lot of stories.
Let's
I wrote
go,
a lot
Kim.
of stories. I wrote a lot. They're actually still in this writing desk back
Oh
here in my
my
old
gosh.
exercise book.
Is there
I
like
could
a
break.
is there a Kim in those stories too?
No,
Oh my
maybe.
God.
Or I think maybe like I wrote Tifa, but like I
Yeah.
embodied Tifa. You know, they're thirsty. They're very thirsty, and I don't
Let's
think
go.
that's ever gonna change. Like,
Like-
no.
For
He's a
villains, I
jerk.
actually really liked in the remake. I liked Heidegger and Scarlet. I think
Oh
they were
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Hojo, what a good boy.
cool.
Bloody Hojo, yes. Hojo's such a good friend. Yeah, Hojo's a right prick. Wow. What a bastard. But,
Yeah,
what a
What
bastard.
an asshole.
there's
Have we
a
got
lot-
any answers from chat? Like, have we got any picks from chat as to who and why and when they like?
So we got a bit of Wedge, Buggenhagen's, my favorite from the original, someone said. Got some Vincent fans. Yeah.
Everyone's just, well, I say everyone just hates Chadley.
Good.
Because
I'm glad.
this is the one who wears a little sailor outfit, and he's like, and he challenges you to
Yeah.
And
doing
fight
my
all the
research.
summons and like do his
Yeah.
research and stuff like that. And he's just a little nerd.
He is. He's a big nerd.
the epitome of the actually. But he's
Oh.
cute. He's cute. He's cute.
I'm looking at him now.
I'm reading something and it says whispers ensure that no one leaves their predetermined path. And it
Oh.
says
Yeah,
this is a
there was a fight where you fight the whispers of Tifa, Barrett, and Cloud. and
Yeah,
you
outside
beat them.
Seventh Heaven.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, so
And
that's like maybe when you break out of the last timeline or something.
Yeah. And it says this is a meta reference to a player playing through Final Fantasy VII multiple times, with the story remake serving to break that cycle. That's what this says, but I mean,
Okay.
it's that's just a random article. That's like
It's an
not
interesting
it's not
theory.
canon.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good
It's a
theory.
theory.
But,
We don't really
yeah.
know what's gonna happen.
We don't know. We don't know what's happening,
Hmm.
which is good. I kind of want the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's something that surprised me, like, because I thought this was just going to be a straight up retelling of Final Fantasy VII. So when it started diverging, yeah, I was like, what is that? Where are we going with this? And I think that's part of my excitement to see where 2 and 3 are going to go, Rebirth and whatever. I'm going to guess it right now that they're going to call the third one Reunion, just because that's a big theme.
Oh, that is
Um,
good.
So that's my theory. But yeah, so like I'm, as a very
They're writing
old
that down
fan-
right now. They're like, write that down, write that down.
God damn it, the streamers got it. But yeah, like, yeah, as a very, very old fan, like, that is something that, yeah, has made me want to play it again and again and again. Is like, oh, this is going in a new direction. Like, it's familiar enough, but I'm, yeah, really intrigued to see where we end up. And I just love all the additions, like Jesse's backstory and, things like that. Like, it's just been such a wonderful kind of, yeah, giving me more of the world that I love, I think, and the characters
Fleshing
that
it
I
out.
love. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of like what Ruffy in my chat is saying, like multiversal and what ifs, basically.
Yeah.
So like
Hmm.
which is making a lot of other things possible and happen.
Kind of reminds me a bit of like the new Scott Pilgrim anime, where it starts exactly the same and then drastically
Yeah.
changes.
Because I guess that's the thing as well. Is like Final Fantasy VII was out in 1997, and since then there's been so many kind of additions to it with like Advent Children and then mobile games, PSP games, remakes and stuff like that. That there is a lot of stuff to pull in there. Like there's a lot of extra content and storylines to pull in. So are they going to bring in Crisis Core stuff? Are they going to bring in like what is it? There's a mobile game out now called Ever Crisis as well, and things like that. I guess probably not too much.
I mean,
Maybe
they
like
did
the
remake Crisis Core like the year after remake, didn't they? I think. Came out in
Yeah, there is
2022.
oh, what is it called? I
Came out
know
on
what you mean
Steam in
though.
2022. I think.
Yeah, it's on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 as well.
Yeah, so it's a big story. Like, and I kind of wonder, what is it about Final Fantasy VII in particular? Because I don't feel like there's any other Final Fantasy that has such a wealth of, spin-offs, prequels, sequels, like animes. Well, I guess the
True.
15 had some accompanying animes in the movie, but like,
It
yeah,
did, yeah, it did,
yeah, like, but nothing else has really had such a kind of big revisit like over the years. Like, so I wonder, like, why this one sticks out so much for everyone. And I mean, my theory is the setting and the world, like the kind of, I think of all the Final Fantasies, and you've got the very classical kind of fantasy, medieval fantasy based worlds. You've got the kind of more modern worlds like Final Fantasy 12 and 15 and a bit of 13 as well. But like with this one, there was something very sci-fi about it and very kind of dystopian. And I think it just
were
has
both a bit sci-fi, weren't
yeah, but like
And
I
9
just
went
think the
back to
plate
fantasy.
itself, like the whole concept of the plate and that architecture and construction, and then what that means for how people live there, and this whole like Mako reactors and all of that kind of thing. Like, there's just something I really love about that setting, and like just always sits in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, just there's nothing as iconic as the plate, and that original artwork of Cloud stood like so the shots like behind his head as he's looking up at the reactor. Like, that just lives in my mind rent free forever.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's right here.
Oh,
so-
yeah.
And
Look
there's
at
that
it.
first that
Hello.
first moment where you've been playing in Midgar for 7 or 8 hours, and then you suddenly you're out and you're on this map, and you're like, whoa, what's happened? The game
Yeah,
is different.
it's opened up
Well,
to
that's
the world.
yeah. And that's what it's going to be in Rebirth, isn't it? We're seeing the
Yeah.
wide open world. We're seeing color. We're seeing
Mm.
not industrial buildings and slums and wastelands. Like, that was something that stood out for me in the trailer, is like how much color and greenery there
Yeah,
is.
variety that's going to be coming.
Oh yeah, when they went to see Aerith's mom, and it was
Mm.
so
Oh, yes.
green and so
Yeah.
lush, and the flowers, and there were like, there were a lot of like really touching moments that fleshed out a lot of relationships and characters, and because you've got, like Ozzy was saying, you've got the text, right, and then there's no like voice acting to bring that to life. So bringing a bunch of like stories of these characters to life with voice acting was just so impactful. Like the story of like Aerith, I'm not gonna say exactly what, but like how with Aerith and her mom, and like how that all came to be, and it was just so nice. And like when they slowed it down, but then when it ramped up again, and I
I
love
also
them.
think for me, the music just makes the game. Like,
I was going to say the soundtrack, I think, is one of those iconic ones. It's like not that every other Final Fantasy game, I would say, it has an iconic song from the soundtrack. And
Nobu Uematsu.
oh, exactly, yeah, he knocks it out of the park every time. So I think the soundtrack is incredibly important. And I was going to sort of touch on what Kim was saying about the world, but I think like the storyline in general, I think, is like quite impactful in a way that isn't. It's sort of based on a lot of true and real life situation, isn't it? It's not just. It's a fantasy world, and there's all these things that we don't fully understand. We're trying to get our heads around. Whereas, I think we can kind of all relate to the storyline in Final Fantasy VII, because it is. Well, it's kind of
feels a bit more grounded in reality, and they have things like
especially the Midgard
cars
sections,
and helicopters and motorcycles instead of like we're gonna walk from
Airships
Zanarkand to wherever.
And climate change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
evil
the
corporations, like
Mhm.
corrupted
Yeah.
presidents, like
And and it's quite an old game, and it's like, this stuff's always been around.
still very current in its themes, and as RC is saying in my chat, a lot of trauma. Yeah, there's a lot. I think in every Final Fantasy game there is a lot of trauma, but this one I think is especially like grown up and very mature in its like approach to telling a story. And the first, the original game was very like mature and it didn't baby you through the story. It was very like, wow, okay, that is, and as Kim was saying, like it sort of impacted you quite significantly, and I think that's great that there are video games out there that can do that.
It didn't shy away from tragedy and like tragic things, and also like realistic, like difficult things, like war and poverty and illness that's imposed from, conditions that are brought on from corporations and greed.
Killing the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's why like it's still a storyline that connects today, because now more than ever we've got climate change, we've got evil corporations, we've got capitalism, we've got politics, that's corrupting and ruining everything, and we've got an ever increasing poor rich divide and stuff like that. And like I feel like that's just such an eternal storyline that still is so relevant today, whereas like maybe with some of the other Final Fantasies, like like Final Fantasy VIII, everyone's an orphan and doesn't remember stuff that they spent a whole growing up together because there's an evil witch on the moon. Like it's kind of hard to relate to that,
Triple triad, triple triad. I'm fully on board with triple triad. Oh my goodness.
I mean,
that's the thing. Yeah, does Final Fantasy VII have a game like Blitzball, triple triad, that kind of thing?
Condor.
The new
Full
one.
Condor,
Yeah, Full Condor, yeah. That's only in the remake. That's not in the. Was it in the original?
There was a minigame in the original, but it was like part of the story.
Right.
Because you actually had to
they
made it like Full Condor.
Well,
Right.
you liked the integrate, right, Duncan? You played the Yuffie one, and
yeah,
like
I think
that,
was
like
one of my favorite bits.
yeah, Fort Condor was a big part of it. Like anyone you'd go to talk to, they'd be like, "You want to play some Fort Condor?
I was like, absolutely.
Hell yeah!
Oh, Chocobo racing, of course.
True, yeah.
Did
Chocobo
any of
racing.
you guys get a gold Chocobo in the original 7? Because
I did.
I
did.
I don't
remember.
'cause I
can
no
max
liked
out
it.
the clock on the game one.
Yeah, I just I had no life as a kid. I was very much that weirdo at school, so like I just sat in my room playing Final Fantasy VII
Well, that was me too.
forever
There
and
was a
ever
lot
and
of
ever.
racing and breeding to get that, wasn't there?
I'll be doing that this time round. Trust me, trust me.
I imagine it'll be easier now though.
Mhm.
I think Final Fantasy games traumatized me from like missing stuff. You know what I mean? Because a lot of moments in all Final Fantasy games, you'll like go past an area and you can no longer go back.
Yeah.
And there was
Missing
like
an item, missing any materia.
Anything.
If you miss a summon material, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend who's replaying 8 at the moment, and she got all the way to the end, didn't realize there was a whole bunch of summons that you could get. So she just had like a basic few, and then she got all the way to the end, was really struggling with like the end game, and then she was
so
like,
important in 8 as well.
"Oh wait,
They give
I
you
needed
all your skills.
all of these, but I can't go back and get them." So she had to like reload like a 50-hour save.
Random
you can draw
dude,
them
you
off
know.
the enemies, and then you junction stuff in to actually give you your abilities.
Yeah, I think that one is a bit harder. It has a bit more of a learning curve. So when we're talking about why Final Fantasy VII is so iconic in the series and stuff.
Yeah, the material is it's very easy to understand
and satisfying. I think, and pretty to look at.
It is.
It is.
You
see them on the
weapons. Yeah, you can see it on them.
They love to transfer that stuff across a bunch of their games, like Fire Aga.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, the evolution of
even the enemies.
I mean,
Yeah.
originally
Yeah.
was Fire 1, Fire 2, Fire 3.
Well, it makes it nice because then you kind of have that baseline understanding of like, okay, like I know this is an ice, what are they called, flans or whatever, and I know I can use fire on it, and that's nice to have it carry through. And it works in Kingdom Hearts too.
It does work in Kingdom Hearts. Oh, I love Kingdom Hearts so much. They've got a bunch of Final Fantasy characters in that, but yeah, it's so good. I remember how hyped I was. Fighting Sephiroth was so hard in Kingdom Hearts.
Damn, that was a hard fight.
It's the weirdest thing having
really
Goofy
hard.
and Donald with you. Like,
what
is happening?
I've always, it lives in my head rent free. Goofy saying "Yuffie" in like his Yuffie. I'm like, this should not be happening right now.
I love
What
it.
is happening?
Yeah, I think it's really bizarre, that kind of crossover of like the sweetness of Donald Duck and Goofy, and then like the emo goth that is Sephiroth, just like being like,
all the edgelords.
I got a one wing and I'm really evil. And chill, bro.
The funny thing is, you fight him in like the Hercules arena.
Yeah, he's like the final guy, and you're like, I just fought Cerberus, and I gotta fight Sephiroth, and he rocks you, dude. He absolutely rocks you. Which was like, I had not played Final Fantasy VII when I played that, so I was like, who is this person, this long wig that's just beating me up?
This long wig.
Why is he so hard?
He's such a slay though.
He is.
I remember being really hyped, like insanely hyped, when I saw the trailer, the first one for remake, where like Cloud gets off the train or gets off it gets onto the platform. I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. This looks so good.
Yeah, it's such an iconic opening scene, isn't it? Like, it's just like, even without, if remake hadn't happened, like, I feel like I could have narrated you the intro to Final Fantasy VII, like, even after 20, 30 years. Like, it's just so iconic. When you hear that music, the swell of the arpeggios as it does the city pan. Oh, goosebumps. Just
so
goosebumps. And also on that note, Sephiroth's music, like, this is one thing I think, again, like, this game just nails, is the music. The music is so iconic and goes so hard. And one thing I love, you know, playing again through remake is just hearing the themes again and again and again.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can go harder than Sephiroth's theme tune.
They
Like,
did a great
just as
job of
soon as
updating
you
them as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They're good job.
just as soon as you hear that choir going, you're like, oh god, I just bow down, just take me, use my body as a vessel. It's just so good, so good.
They know
I
how
love
to
it.
do a good soundtrack for Final Fantasies. I'll give them that. It's very impactful, especially when like the ancients, like if or the summons, or like if it's a really big fight. Like I remember 15 had so many good like fight battle scenes and battle music, and it sticks with you.
Yeah.
It really does stick with you. So to hear it from that, like, what's the type of the sort of 8-bit music
Yeah.
from the original?
Like
To
retro
hear it, like,
music.
I guess retro, more retro. From that to like fully fledged orchestra, it's so different.
Great.
And it
Yeah, I
hits
think
you really hard.
one of my like favorite moments ever is actually going and seeing like the Final Fantasy orchestra, like whenever they've had a show wherever, and like when they've played Sephiroth's theme tune and gotten the choir out and everything. There's something about listening to it in real life, like with a full orchestra, with a full choir, that you're just like, oh my god, I can't breathe. Like it's so powerful, and so good. And also I got to, oh god, this is so nerdy, because Final Fantasy VI has a full-on opera scene that they do with the MIDI music, with the retro music, you know, and stuff like that. And hearing that performed live with a real orchestra and actual opera singers singing like the lyrics.
Wow.
Oh my god, like it was such a powerful
sounds so
moment. I
cool.
love
That's
that.
my favorite bit from 6, actually, in like the whole game.
So good. Like, was it Maria and I can't remember the guy's name in it, but yeah, the Maria opera. Oh, so good. And
Video game music is just like, I have such an appreciation for it, because compared to back then to now, there's so much more that goes into a game that makes it what it is, right? You have to take into consideration a lot of things: the voice actors, the graphics, the level design, you know, the dialogue, the story, like everything plays into it. And translating 7 into this, my god, like it's almost hard to believe sometimes.
But it's also it's like you remember it. You know, like it's updated to a point where that's what you remember hearing when you were a kid, but actually now it's like good, like compared to what it was. They've done such a good job of like making it modern, but also keeping it the same.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely like all the little remixes and you know that you can get on the jukeboxes and stuff like that. Like what is it? The Victory theme that's a tango that you find in Sector 5. Like and I just love that Barrett hums the Victory theme every now and again. He's like da 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 da. He's such a cutie.
I loved his relationship with his daughter.
Oh, Marlene.
Yeah, that was really nice
Marlene's a
to see.
good character
I
as well.
loved.
Oh my
I
gosh.
love that.
Her backstory is like tragic as well. Jeez, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, you know, there's probably more to find out as well with poor Marlene's backstory in Rebirth.
Yeah.
I was just going to touch upon it actually. The demo again. There's a piano playing like mini game that you can
Oh.
do.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
there's a section you break into. You go into Tifa's house, and this is like I don't want to spoil too. Guys should go get it after this. You go into her bedroom and start playing her piano, and I was like, what am I doing? I was in the middle of something that is like one of the most traumatic events for like Cloud and Tifa, and I'm just in her bedroom playing her piano, Tifa's theme. It was crazy, but I'm hoping that there are more events like that. You know, it's quite interactive, isn't it? You can sort of
Yeah.
interact with things that you didn't expect that you could do.
Mm.
And I really liked the remake for that as well. There was, you know, so many people to talk to, and you know, they've really like fleshed out the characters and how many people are sort of in the areas that you go to, and you can speak to all kinds of different NPCs, and that's really interesting. Just like how immersive it is.
Wait. Oh, you
Mm.
reminded me, Oz. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
When you played the demo, do you get Cowgirl Tifa yet? Because I can't wait to see her that way. And also, I remember I got to that point and I was like, why is she dressed like this?
Oh,
Please
yes,
tell me
you
about Cowgirl Tifa if you don't mind.
No, of course. So
Well, she's from. That's what she looked like. What she dressed
Yeah,
like when
in
she
the-
was
Yeah.
younger.
As a
In
teenager.
the
But she's like
flashbacks, yeah.
the only one.
Even in the original game, whenever there's a
Well,
flashback, you're just like, why is she dressed like a cowgirl?
I think so. She's a guide that works for her dad. So her dad, I think they kind of like make it a little bit more believable in the demo now, because at Nibelheim everyone is kind of dressed a little bit Western, but
so is
especially
it like
the mayor.
a thing? Okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
mayor and her dad is, you know, they're dressed. A lot of people dress like that. It's quite sort of old-fashioned.
Okay.
It's such a small town, but yeah, she's there. It's incredible. She guides you to the Mako reactor that's on Mount Nebel. And yeah, the oh my gosh, it's so good. Oh, I don't want to say too much about it, but yeah, it's
I know what I'm doing tonight.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. I want to see
It's-
her.
Well, yeah. Actually, yeah. For those of you who are watching this, we all have our own dedicated links. It's either going to be !FF7 Rebirth or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in our designated chats. If you click the link, you can obviously see a bunch of the assets for yourself. Watch a bunch of trailers, and check out the demo, which is on the PlayStation Store. So free to try that out, free to play that.
How
But yeah.
big is the demo, Urs? Like, how long did you sink into it?
Well, I'd say it's a decent chunk. I mean, I'm one of those people that sort of likes to explore everywhere, and I wasn't trying to rush through it. So
Play pianos.
I was playing the piano for a little while. I'd say I spent a good maybe 2 hours in it, 2.5 hours.
Okay,
Okay,
Um,
that's pretty good.
that's crammed quite a lot in then. Yeah, for 2
Yeah.
hours.
And
And
it's releasing on the 29th, is it? And is it
That's
going to
right,
be
yeah.
PlayStation
That's right.
and will it be PC just then or not yet?
No, I think it's just PlayStation 5
Yeah.
now.
For now, yeah.
But there's also another demo going to be released at some point as well. So there's this first demo that's out now, and then Square Enix will be releasing like another demo that's going to be an update at some point. So there's even more like ways that you can, if you're not too sure about if it's your kind of thing, I think the demo gives you a good demonstration of like the gameplay, the story, because I think that's the thing. If you don't really know the story, it's kind of, if you're new to this game, it seems quite overwhelming. But there's a good way to, I think, you know, like, I don't know how would you guys sort of say how easy it is to access the...
I love how when they do this, like I've seen this trend recently with a lot of Japanese developers and publishers just like putting out a demo, seeing what we think about it, what we feel. Like I've seen it quite a few times, and it works. Especially when, okay, it helps if it's good, obviously,
Yeah.
but it does work, and it just gets people super hyped up about it. Like, I really want to play the demo, but I also am one of those people that I'm just like, I want to go in without knowing
Kind of
a whole
yeah,
lot.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
where I
Yeah.
am. Yeah.
Yeah, I
It-
really want to just experience it when it comes out.
'Cause, like,
And
I don't know.
Nibelheim is a flashback area. There's
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, I don't know if this will be. I'm assuming it probably will be in like the full release. But
it's got
to me,
be. Yeah.
to me, it seems like a good like bridge between the remake and Rebirth. Like, it doesn't feel like it's skipping ahead of anything. It's sort of like, I don't know. I don't know whether it's imperative to play it or it will be included in the full release. I'm
oh
not
well, no,
too
it
sure.
100% will be in
Yeah.
in the full release. Yeah.
Yeah, because that
So
stuff
it's-
was in the original game, like the kind of Tifa
Oh, yeah.
flashback leading you up to the Mako reactor. So it would be weird if that wasn't in the full game.
Yeah, I just wondered if like if it's going to be like the first part of the game anyway. But it got me just like, where is this? It needs to be out now. And
Yeah.
it's so close to being there. But yeah, to me it was just like, oh my god, this
It's
is
only 2 weeks away.
I
know.
know. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? Like,
Mhm.
that is...
Yeah.
It's coming.
I wonder how it's gonna work with like. Is it gonna be from scratch? Are you gonna be starting? You know what I mean? Because like we have.
Oh,
Mm.
with our
Remembering our saves
ability.
over?
Oh,
yeah.
So I think it would
'Cause-
carry
Good
over
question.
unless maybe you don't have save file
Maybe it just
information.
gives you everything. So if you missed anything, it's like, well, there it is.
If it brings
Yeah.
everything
That
over,
is
there's a
such a-
lot of stuff. I unlocked a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, it
That's
feels
a
like that's
good-
like a bit too much to start with, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you make a good point, and that's like it's interesting because you do get to play as a bunch of the other, and you spec your team, right? You spec
Yeah.
Tifa, you spec Aerith, you spec Barrett, you put the. Thank you, Ellie.
Give me that cat. I want her.
Good
Thank
old-
you, Ellie.
Yes.
Yeah, so you spec all of their gear and you give them the good stuff. So it's like, will they get like sort of nerfed? Are you starting from scratch? Is it going to give you the opportunity to build up again?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's good.
Are we
good
going to go
question.
all the way to level 100 by the end of the trilogy? Like, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
Like, because maybe it does that where it will let you start with what you had if you have a save.
yeah.
But like for newcomers, it will start from like a level, like I don't know, level
Yeah.
30, 40,
Yeah.
wherever, you know, and you just have to like bamf everything. But then that could be quite overwhelming. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how they handle that one. Because I'm just trying to think of like other games who have done that, like Mass Effect
I
and
can't
Dragon
imagine many
Age.
people would just go straight into Rebirth though and skip the first one.
Yeah.
You
Maybe,
can
though.
definitely do it. And
think
who
the-
knows? You might have played on PC and then you go in on console.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You might be able to transfer your save from PC.
And
Yeah, I have
also-
done that thing on owning it on every platform. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I own Final Fantasy games on every platform.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just a thing that's
Oh
happened.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I think like it's probably more commonplace than you'd realize because I mean I know and I understand like it's a trilogy or we think it will be obviously a
Will be
trilogy
3,
of
yeah.
games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I can imagine there'll be some people that sort of like the look of this one in
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah.
And whether it's
Yeah. Because this is kind of where it opens up a little bit,
Mm.
yeah,
and they might
and-
like that rather
Yeah.
than being stuck in. like,
Oh,
And it
apparently the
Mhm.
dev said that there's nothing transfers over, but having a save from the first game will unlock some bonus summons that you can't get anymore, like Leviathan and Ruma.
Interesting.
Oh, big water dragon. Okay, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess because there's like not too much that's like super rare equipment or materia and stuff like that. Like so.
Yeah, if there was just
Yeah.
like a remember what I was
Yeah.
using button, you know, like,
Yeah.
But it's been so long. If I go
I
back in
know.
now, I'm like, I don't know.
it would
what
probably just
any of this
average
stuff
everything
does.
out.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say as well, it's kind of like so if you played The Witcher 3, it will prompt you of when you first start the game. It's like, did you there's like did you play the second one? And that's an option. So it will say,
Mm.
oh, I did play the second one. So
Mm.
you've already got a relationship with what is his name, the other Witcher guy, that's a right bastard, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember who he is.
I can see him. I
Some-
can't visualize his name.
Chat, you must know who I mean. You can select
Chadley.
that as an
Chadley.
Chadley, please.
Sadly.
But you know, in that instance, like the Witcher series is like quite a flowing, you know,
Yeah.
it follows on from one from the other. And I just got into it from the third one.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
wh-
yeah,
when
Yeah.
it prompted me about a story point, a plot point within the second, I was like, I have no idea, but that didn't
It
stop me
wasn't-
from
yeah.
enjoying the story
Yeah.
going forward.
Yeah.
It's like Kim said with
Agreed.
Dragon Age and with Mass Effect. So I did play Dragon Age Inquisition, and then I went back, and then I also did play Mass Effect 2, and then I went back. So, but I don't know, because this
Right.
is one continuous kind of thing. So I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
'cause
sure,
you-
but
yeah.
I guess there will be people, like you said, that might look at it and be like, oh, this point of the story looks really fun, and maybe they'll get this, they'll play it, and they'll be like, oh, I want to know how I got to this point, and then they'll go back and
That's-
play the first
yeah.
bit.
The amount of times that's happened to me where I've gone, whoa, this is, and which is what's so good, like with a bunch of the remakes that a lot of other companies have been doing, like with Resi and stuff. They make such a good name and they do such a good job with remaking a bunch of these, you know, these classics that where, you know, anyone playing it is like, yeah, I want to go play either the original or the
Yeah.
first in what's kicked this all off. So I can totally imagine that a lot of people, even if they do jump into this one and they finish it, they'll probably go, you know what, I might want to actually go back and like
Yeah.
do
Play the-
remake and
yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
And it's been what, like 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the game, you know, might look a lot better. It might have new mechanics. It might have a lot of new aspects that draw players in.
Maybe
The other
people just
thing-
want to play it for Vincent as well. They're
That's
like,
what I was just
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
give that
Vincent and
first bit.
Sid,
Vincent's not in
yeah.
it.
And the other thing
Actually-
is, I think there's a trailer on YouTube where that has the story so far. So if you do want to jump in at Rebirth, you can just go on Square Enix's like Final Fantasy YouTube page, and they have like a 5-minute video that will catch you up.
That's
Like if you want to do that.
It's also on the
In-
demo. If you download the demo, you can watch it there as well.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Maybe
they
it'll
thought
just
of
be in the full game
everything.
then, like
Yeah.
Also,
previously
also
on.
with our links, so if you go to our links, you click them and you scroll like near the end, there's a whole bunch of different purchasing options. So there's the standard edition, there's the digital deluxe, and then there's the one's called the twin package, which offers you remake and rebirth.
Okay.
Oh,
So
Oh yeah,
you can-
That's good
so you
then.
can get both of those. So any like you can get that for like a pretty
that's
pretty
What?
pretty
it's
decent.
the same
yeah.
price. How
It's
does
the
that
same
work?
price.
That's a yeah.
It's now, I think it was free on PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
So I think if you have played, it's, I
Don't-
think,
yeah. Don't click standard edition. Scroll a little bit more.
Yeah,
and you
Yeah.
can
yeah,
both
get
of
that
them.
bonus. Yeah, get that Brucey bonus.
You
Yeah.
don't know, chat. Everyone
I
go.
believe-
they
I
don't
believe
know.
the remake is still on PlayStation Plus. I don't think anything ever gets taken off there. So that's another option. If you've got PlayStation Plus, it's available with that too.
And that's Integrate as well, which has the Yuffie extras, a Yuffie story as well.
Yeah,
which I
okay.
haven't played. I need to play.
You should play it. It's really
Integrate,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
really,
it's
really
good.
Just seeing on the listing for that, it says you get magic pot summoning materia, and that's just reminded me of last night. Like I said, I was playing Remake again, and I got up to the Colosseum where you have to fight the giant hell house.
Oh god,
Oh,
the
And,
house.
yeah.
and I was just thinking about that
Oh.
because again, like everyone thinks Final Fantasy can be quite serious, blah blah blah, and all fantasy, and it's all based in like mythology. And I'm like, no, one of the bosses is a giant haunted house.
I totally forgot about that house, and you have just woken up something inside of me.
I love the arena and
Yeah.
those zones just because it gives them the excuse to be like, yeah, remember this guy?
Yeah, remember this weird boss?
Wait, are they gonna have Dancing Frog? You know, where he goes like this?
I
Do they
think
have
they might.
him?
I-
He's my favorite, and he's just a
Aw.
little
If you
guy,
get
and you're like,
Frog,
why
I
am I
think-
beating him up? I don't know.
I
Being
think you
able
can
to
get
turn-
frogged.
Being able to turn into a frog was one of the highlights for me of the remake, by the way.
Yeah,
Getting
when
turned
we're in
into
the
a frog.
sewers.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and he was Cloud with this little tiny Buster sword.
Oh my gosh, cute.
Ooh.
Actually, that is one thing that cracks me up as well, is Cloud with his giant sword. Like, you know when you go into a bed to sleep and he
Yep.
just puts it on the... And then he just lies on the bed with his huge nuts and bolts
Pauldrons,
yeah.
pauldron. Like, that
As you
doesn't look
do.
comfortable at
I
all.
do like how he
Just
moves
like-
it out of the way when he's about to sit down on one of those
Yeah.
benches.
Oh, that's
though,
really
you know,
cool.
Like, that's practical. Yes.
it does make you think of like, what would it? I mean, it looks cool, but what would it really be like carrying around this giant heavy sword?
I actually have his Buster sword somewhere. It's massive. I can barely pick it up.
My
I'll have to go and
goodness.
find it. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Oh my
Imagine
gosh.
if someone
bunch of-
broke into your house and you just saw you coming down. Like,
Let me see if I can go find it. Continue
Imagine you're
talking.
carrying,
Continue
like,
kitchen.
Pyramid Head though.
Ladies
Oh, yeah,
using it
pyramid
to
head.
cut up the charcuterie.
yeah. And then you got Sephiroth with his like, I don't know, however long
Like
that
a
sword
15
is.
It's
Like,
like a really
katana.
long samurai sword, yeah.
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 Just getting stuck in doorways and like you couldn't really take that on the tube, could you?
Mhm. Well, there's
Well, they can like fly and stuff, can't they? Well, not fly, but they can.
Oh my
Whoa!
Oh, holy
Oh!
crap!
That is
Lucy!
huge.
Just gonna cut a
Just
PC in
gonna, yeah,
half
the
by accident.
PC's gonna go offline.
It's just like a giant piece of shit.
That's
I like she had to go get it from somewhere.
Use Omni Slash.
Do you think she keeps it in the
That's-
bathroom?
That's incredible.
Is that
Owen.
The detail on the
Christ.
hilt is
That
amazing.
is great.
My
Yeah,
god.
it's kind
Slapping
of
some materia.
scary.
It is.
Yeah, I've not got any materia in it either.
Oh wow.
Aw.
But this thing is heavy.
Materialist.
Yeah,
yeah,
my
it looks
gosh.
like it.
Get a tennis ball and shove it in the middle. See what powers it's got.
Oh my gosh,
That
it's
was
serve.
me.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's actually quite sharp as well. So I
Oh.
try to be careful with this. But
Oh my
yeah, I don't know
gosh.
how. It's not even like I don't think it's even full size. But this thing, yeah, it's very heavy.
Well, there was
Where did you
ooh.
get that from? Where
I got
did
it from Blades UK. I got it. I ordered this thing. It was like a few years ago. Yeah.
Oh my
so-
gosh, that's so cool.
great.
UK.
It's very cool.
I know. Why wouldn't we want that? Because I mean, the other thing is like the memorabilia. So I wonder if they'll be coming out with. There's been quite a few like anime statues that have come out recently of like different games and things that are like these massive pieces of art. I can't wait to see what they come out with for that sort of thing.
Actually,
know,
that's
yes.
just unlocked for me. Like when I was a kid playing Final Fantasy VII when it first came out, was I got obsessed. In the back of a gaming magazine, it had a catalog order for the Cloud and motorbike statue.
Oh, that
I
was
have
so
that.
Oh, you
Had
have that? I
it.
was obsessed with that as a
I
kid.
have that. Yeah, yeah. It's
Oh.
literally like this big
Is
with
it?
the bike. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Pretty hefty.
I was
Nice.
obsessed with that because the motorcycle chase was one of my favorite things, like
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
game, and like and I just remember, this ad for it in the back of a magazine, and it had a little form that you could fill out and send
Yes,
off.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I always used to want Skull's Griever pendant.
Mm.
Oh my
I still have
gosh.
that. I found
Really?
it in my jewelry box.
Wow.
I've got the Final Fantasy X ring, the one that has like the logo thing on it too. It's somewhere in here. Oh my gosh. That's the best bit though too, is getting all the merch and the figures and the Buster swords and the everything else. I hope
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh, will they release if they release even if it was just an orb of that holy materia, I'd put that on my
Yes.
shelf.
Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
paperweight.
I'm very disappointed because all the deluxe editions for the game, like physical copies, came with a Sephiroth figure, and obviously completely
Oh.
sold out
Yeah.
super quick. However, I will be looking around eBay for,
Yeah.
for things, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, that I do enjoy like that aspect of it. It seems like all the merch is very cool, and you know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
I actually wouldn't mind having those figures on my shelf for.
They are, they're really, really nice because they have like the old Final Cloud with the motorcycle was done in that older sort of like this style, this blocky kind of style.
Yeah.
But I do think they have an updated one as well that's more like the modern aesthetic and the modern kind of like the way they look. I was just
Yeah.
thinking like I was really lucky, like back when I was a games journalist, I used to get sent to Japan a lot to do a lot of the kind of Final Fantasy interviews, particularly when 13 and 14, the upgrade of 14 came out, and I was really lucky to go to the original Square Enix store, which had in it, in the floor on the second bit, it had a giant statue of Sephiroth, like sunk into the floor, topless, Because like it was like as he was in, if he was in the live stream, so it was kind of like had like kind of that live stream green behind him, and he's like resting, and you could just like, yeah, there's a picture of me just like sat on him, just being.
I was gonna say, Kim, are you no longer allowed in Japan after you were caught licking
Yeah.
the statue?
Yeah, I'm not welcome back there. There's a pink ban on me. Yeah.
Tried to take it back with you.
Why
I
is there
tried.
lipstick on his chest?
I tried real hard, but yeah, they moved the store closer to where Square Enix headquarters are in Tokyo, and they didn't move the statue. So, and I heard that apparently one of the executives has the statue now in wherever they live.
Oh,
Whether or not that's true, I don't know.
Give
That
it,
might not
Chad.
be true.
yeah. My gosh.
Yeah, it was all like I just remember seeing it and being like, "Oh my god!" And then I spent way too much money in that store. Way too much. It's dangerous.
As you should. As you should.
Will this oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Will this next bit then have? Isn't there a bit when they are? And I don't think this is like anything massive or anything. When they go and they see Red 13 in that area. Isn't there a bit where they're stood in something where it's like almost this like big like galaxy thing too, where they get like a preview of something that's
right at the end.
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Was
so.
that, or the are you talking about the observatory?
I think
'Cause
it's
they go
something
to
with the
Cosmo
observatory.
Canyon. Yeah, because they go to Cosmo Canyon, which is where Red's from.
Mhm.
And like there's a bit like I can't remember exactly the relationship he has with a kind of scientist there who has an observatory at the top of the of the canyon. So it might be that. Yeah, maybe.
Isn't there like a bit where it's like they're stood and they're like basically it looks like they're in space and they're doing something? Because I feel like seeing that.
Yeah, you're talking. That's at the end of Remake, I think, where it like where they're having this like showdown right at the end, and it's like very colorful and it looks cosmic, right?
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
I think so.
'Cause
Yeah.
I think that's because that's when they go into this like I think alternate timeline of things. The Cosmo
knows?
Canyon.
Okay.
It's the part in Cosmo Canyon. Yeah. So I think that's what you may have seen at some point.
Okay, because
So
I
think-
haven't seen it revisited yet or reimagined, because that is like, you know, an iconic scene that I would look forward to seeing. Is there like anything that you are like excited to see in this new graphical style?
The kaijus would be good to see, like the weapons.
Yeah, I was going to say, are the ruby weapons going to be in this? They were the bane of my
Well,
existence.
I think Junon is definitely in it, right? So, and with the big gun.
Yeah.
So I guess then there's going to be kaijus coming out of the sea at some point.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
don't even remember that. Kaijus.
Yeah, just
Like, was
giant
Ruby and Emerald
Shinra
weapon, I
mechs.
think,
Like, yeah, because
Yep.
didn't they bring them into 14 as well as like
okay.
very
Yeah,
optional
they're
bosses?
raid bosses in 14.
Yeah. Yeah, so they were kind of like an optional extra. Like you had a little bit of a tangle with them. In fact, actually, yeah, one of the little cutscenes in the Rebirth trailer reminded me of that, where it's soldiers lining up on like an outdoor platform and the sea's next to them.
Yeah,
And
that'll
that's
be
where
it.
you first
That's
see,
where you see
yeah,
the first
Okay.
one.
Are they
because they
kind
rise
of
out
like,
of the ocean.
Are they kind of like Dark Aeons, kind of from Final
In terms
Fantasy
of
X?
difficulty.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember.
They're up there. They're really hard.
Okay.
Like really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
need to kill them, right? They're optional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember there was a storyline battle with them that was kind of, you know, but then you could go and find them when it was
Yeah, 'cause
open
they
world.
like
Yeah.
roam around the world map, don't they?
My
yeah,
goodness.
and that was the hardcore, like, you know,
Yeah.
optional extra. You didn't have to fight them, but that was the you're going to be here for a good hour. Trying to kill them.
They have a lot of
battle.
health.
So Ruffy's saying so Ruby and Emerald weapons were add-ons for the Western version.
Oh,
and
Oh,
and there's a
really?
question of whether they will be in Rebirth.
Mm,
But
interesting.
the other weapons should
I think
be.
Diamond Weapon was in the story, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see what's in like the original versions and what they do and don't
Mhm.
decide to carry over.
Yeah.
It's-
No,
it's
they
pretty
add,
cool.
just added stuff for our version. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that happens a lot actually. Yeah, with
Hmm.
Western releases or like releases for Japan and
They're
stuff.
like
so-
Western people love kaiju. Let's put more in.
And they're not wrong.
I think I'm looking forward to the date in the Golden Saucer.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As much like I feel like I replayed
Oh yes.
because obviously there's that scene when you're at Aerith's house, and depending on how you've sort of treated the party
Mm.
from Cloud's perspective, very, so it changes that cutscene. So you can have Aerith, Tifa, or Barrett, which I really
I
like.
had Barrett. I had Barrett.
Yeah, obviously I had Tifa. I'm a big Tifa.
Yeah,
stan.
Tifa all the
I
way.
think
I'm
Aerith is
sorry.
the canon one.
Oh, I was gonna say, who does everyone
yeah.
lean towards?
Tifa.
It's all
Okay.
it's all about Clotey.
Clotey.
Yeah, the shipping name is Clotey.
Okay.
Cloud and
I've
Tifa.
never heard the
Oh,
shipping name before.
Floaty. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
or Clareth is the other one, but I'm Team
Oh.
Clotey
I
always.
think-
So-
Team
Yeah.
Clotey.
I think
Claret.
Tifa. Really?
Claret.
That's a good shit name.
Clessy.
I don't
one.
know. I kind of like. I feel like him and Aerith, Cloud and Aerith, kind of go better together. I don't know. It's
I
weird.
feel
It's
like
hard
that's
to pick.
That's the canon
It's
for me.
confliction, yeah. Because I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
they are really nice together, but I think like putting myself in Tifa's shoes, where you've like put a lot of time and effort and energy into like wanting to be with this person, and then maybe they don't want to be with you, makes me sad too. But
Yeah.
then
I
again,
get
I
you.
was reading some of the comments on the trailer, and they were like, "Are those really like Aerith's true feelings, or is it or his true feelings?" Because of
Right.
course, the
Because of
background
Zack,
stuff.
Because
yeah.
of Zack, yeah, and
Well, yeah, that's the thing that I would be like, like she dated Zack, who was kind of a mentor to Cloud.
Mhm.
So it's kind of weird to me. It's kind of like a bit like, I don't know, like
that's why
you're the second choice.
in my
Yeah.
opinion, from playing the remake, we're getting into like this silly shipping stuff, but it's
That's
Zack
what
and
it's all about.
it's
Yeah.
Zack and Aerith, and that's why
Yeah.
Aerith has this projection. Like it's what is it when you get that with like to a therapist? It's like that. She's connected to him because of
Oh,
his connection to Zack, and that's
Yeah.
I think that's
Oh,
I think that's
awful.
it. Like
yeah.
Oh,
honestly, like if you look into, I mean, for goodness sake, they roll out of a train together, him and Tifa, and there's
Yeah.
little moments, man.
Well, in
I don't
I
know.
get it.
In the
I get what you're
trailer,
saying.
Aerith looks into Cloud's eyes, and she goes, "Oh, your eyes." And then he looks at her, and he goes, "Oh, that's just what is it from the Maka or whatever the
Maka,
Maka."
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like,
For the
is she looking
soldiers.
at them because wouldn't Zack have had the same,
Yeah.
basically the same eyes, right? Because he
Yeah.
was also
Yeah.
a soldier.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh,
So
I
she's
feel-
Cloud
replacing
likes
Zack with
Ares
Cloud.
because of Zack's memories.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I feel so like weirdly bad for these characters.
Trauma.
Oh,
That's why
Trauma.
Kim has it right with the true ship is Cloud and Sephiroth. I don't know what the name for that is.
True.
Clefairoth?
Clefairoth.
Cled 13.
Oh,
Sephiroth.
Do you think we'll get Sephiroth's hot clone brothers or whatever they are from Advent Children in this?
Oh my
those
god.
Bring
guys.
back
They
3
confused me.
Sephiroths.
Yeah. Why have one when you can have 3?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
That
the
you
one,
just
maybe the one we
ingest.
fought at the end of the remake was one of those.
Oh.
oh, maybe.
That's good, yeah.
'Cause
Man.
He wasn't there in the original game. He wasn't in Midgar.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Because they were just
Yeah.
introduced in that film, right? They weren't anywhere
Yeah.
else. They're just maybe referenced in the game.
They were kind of like,
Probably.
I feel like they were a bit of a red herring in the movie because you can't just open with Sephiroth and be like, you have to build. You have to build to him. He takes his time turning up. So I felt like that was a bit of a red herring to be like, okay, here's a Sephiroth adjacent
Mhm.
alike, but he's not the real bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here he comes. Here comes Big Daddy.
Did they have Genova's body in the first part in the remake yet or no?
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
I think
think
you
it's
do
towards the end,
see
yeah.
it. I
think
feel like
you
you
see
do.
You fight something Genova-like as well, don't you?
Because I
Yeah,
want to
I'm pretty
see.
sure.
Because when you walk up and you see her and you're like, oh snap, she's just all out there. I want to see it in the remake. I want to see what they do for that. Because I think
Yeah.
that's in the bit with
I-
the cowboy town.
I have a lot of fond childhood
Yes.
memories of Shiva from Final Fantasy VIII.
I think that's
Oh.
everyone's sexual awakening is Shiva from
Yeah.
all the Final Fantasies. I mean,
She's
like in
great.
13, she's two Shivas that scissor and turn into a motorbike. You
Yes,
know, I
that
don't.
is true.
There's
It
no
is true.
subtlety about that.
That was 13, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you not seen
Yeah.
this? So in 13, like all the summons are kind of like motor vehicle themed. So they turn up in their original form and then they turn into some kind of vehicle.
Yeah.
And
Like
Shiva
Transformers.
is
Yeah.
two ladies who dance around,
Oh!
scissor, and turn into a motorcycle that
G was
Snow
like,
then
right.
sits on.
G, are you on
Yeah.
YouTube watching this right now?
You have to.
G is like, I want to know what this is like. No, I remember that happening, and I was like, wait a second, because they already had me with Fang and Vanille, where I was like,
Oh,
please
Vanille,
give this
yes.
to me. I need it. So
Yeah.
Vanille was a lovely,
mhm,
lovely lady.
Fang was my
Lovely
jam.
name.
Like I loved Fang.
mhm, very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just so funny in 13 when they all turned into like I think was it Ramur turned into a horse, Odin turned into a horse.
Yep. mhm.
So you had like
Yeah.
some sensible ones, and then you had the scissoring lesbian motorcycle.
Yeah, I mean, why
Apparently
not?
they're
though?
sisters. Apparently they're sisters.
Oh, that
so-
makes
No,
it-
it's
Yeah.
sisters,
But-
G. It's
Hey!
sisters. You're misunderstanding. It's different.
Sorry.
Scissor
Oh.
sisters, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to because we did get the Chocobo and Mog summon in the first in the
Yes,
remake
yeah.
as well, and that was
Yeah.
a delight.
Oh,
Holy
the
shit.
big boy.
Yeah.
The big boy. Oh my goodness,
So
he was
in the original, you don't get any summons until you leave Midgar, and then you get
Yeah.
the Chocobo one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but they
You
they kind of had to give us something.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that I think it's like at the end of the first disc and the original, and you can like grind, just you're trying to grind out those levels before like getting into that second disc. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be under level for this. No way, no way.
So OP. Yeah. I hope we get the Knights of the Round
do as
summon,
well.
and it still is a 10-minute cutscene.
Mm.
That would be
Behemoth
great.
Zero
Like
as well.
I think that would be great. like
wanna
where you
see
go
the
through
Behemoth
every
Zero.
single night.
Destroy every planet in the solar system.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well,
And then-
that's gonna
and
be.
do, like,
That's what I'm
400
looking forward
damage.
to.
That was insane, wasn't it? Yeah, the last fights in Final Fantasy, and it's just endless cutscenes as big
But yeah,
moves are
'cause
being
you'd get
summoned.
like materia that would be like double summon and then quadra magic, and then you'd end up casting Behemoth Zero, and it would cast 8 times.
Yeah.
You'd go and have dinner. You'd come back and it would still be going.
Yeah.
They should make it. Yeah, RC's saying they should make it longer. Make it 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Well, they
How
had
dare
it
you.
for they had Final Fantasy X. They had the Magus sisters, right? That one was so long. I remember because your controller
Yes.
vibrates so much, I would just put it down and I'd be like, I'm just waiting for this to be over.
I completely forgot about that. I called them the Marga sisters, but I completely forgot about them.
Yeah, they were
Wow.
cute. The bug sisters.
Yes.
I think that's what I like too, is like there's so many different little like monsters, and then also the summons are so unique even to each game. If they're the same one, they're never the same. Do they have
Yeah.
what is his name? Rama? The gr-
Ramu, yeah, the big
The
beard
wizard.
guy.
Yeah.
He was my favorite to summon in Final Fantasy VII in the original, because I'd be like, here comes Grandpa with his full set, because he's got like super long nails on, right? He's got his full
Yeah.
set done, and he comes out.
It's full
I
set.
gotta look him up in the remake.
I was like 9 with Alexander, who was just a whole castle. Like he was just a whole
Oh,
castle
yeah.
from the
He
Garnet's
was in the story, wasn't
city.
he?
Yeah, and he turns up in a cutscene because the bad guys summon Bahamut, big classic fire dragon, who
Yeah.
attacks the city, and then the castle just rises up as this winged kind of fortress.
And he's like, I
And
don't
protects
think
the
so,
city.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. That was
is,
one of
like,
my
epic.
favorite.
So epic, wasn't it?
Yeah, because you're like, what?
Yeah.
Castle is a summon! Oh my god, I've been inside that thing. Oh, how
Yeah.
does that work?
Ooh.
Have you fought him in 14? He's like 9 fights. Like
Jeez.
Yeah, I'm working my way through it. I'm working my way. I'm still working my way through that one. Getting a lot of cogs.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think how the summons change like game to game is interesting as well. Because is Ifrit the same in 7 as he is in like 10? So I
See
think
you like a werewolf
The same
guy,
premise,
kinda. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that
Yeah.
you sort of said it with the Shiva motorbike
Mm.
thing. But yeah, the summons are like very, very cool. I think they, for me, added like an extra kind of like, well, this is a fantasy, you know, it kind of cements like this is a
Yeah.
fantasy game now because we're actually summoning creatures. Whereas you kind of have to warm up to that a little bit, I find, when you're playing it. As I recently saying about the demo, I recently played the demo again, but there's nothing to summon. There's like a bit of magic you can use. And then when you get really stuck into it, and you've got all these sort of like, you know, abilities and all these things that you can use, you kind of, it's not overwhelming. It never really feels overwhelming, I wouldn't say. You're just kind of like, great, there's another like tool in my belt now I can use.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's always, it keeps things interesting, I think. Like, oh, who am I gonna use? And you can level up the materia, obviously. So
Yeah.
that's always like interesting who you're gonna sort of pick. I was always the you know, in the remake it was Chocobo Moogle. Hands down, has to be.
I've got a good
Rather than-
question. Who is the it's how many people do you get in your party? 3? 4? Who are your always the
3.
3? Do you have like a 3 that you always go with in 7 where it's like you
do
always
feel
have
like
them in your
You
party?
have to kind of have an A party and a B party because
Yeah.
you do have like split the party sometimes.
Depends on the
And
situation.
you don't want to just have
Yeah.
3 amazingly
Yeah.
leveled up characters, and then when you split the party, you're suddenly got these 3 that are like
I
level
don't
1.
know.
You're like, oh god.
I
Well,
do
so-
that because I always go with a girls squad. If there's 3 girls, I'm like, okay, it's totally spies time. I'm taking my 3 girls with me. Like,
I think in like if we're not, you know, ideally I'm taking Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett. But then I think like interchange Barrett with Red 13
yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I am just simping for Cloud and Tifa. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well,
but I love
Aerith is
them.
good for her healing, right?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
obviously the healer of the group, which is very handy in you know, in a bind, which is why I kind of like when she's around. But yeah, you got Barrett for long range stuff.
She's pretty good at combat in the remake.
That's
Um,
true.
Yeah.
Her limit break was pretty good. I remember. Yeah, she was good. She was good.
'Cause
Yeah,
she was, like-
nothing like outstanding, but
I
In
felt
the
like
old one,
type
she was more
matchups-
weak, right?
She was definitely more classic healer. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
she
yeah.
never
Yeah.
she didn't have this kind of offensive abilities that she does in remake. Yeah, because that surprised me, like playing remake and being like, oh, Aerith can actually do stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
Yeah.
and in a very unique Aerith way. Like, you know, I really enjoyed the way she uses magic. And then when you have the arcane ward that you can stand on that lets you cast a spell twice, like that is just OP when you can get that to go off. Like, yeah, I really, really like that.
After playing Integrate though, I don't think I can't not have Yuffie in the party. She's so much fun.
Oh,
yeah.
She's so fun to play.
What are you saying
Yeah.
about the type matchups, Ped? With, like,
Yeah,
Aerith?
no, like I remember I was using Aerith like as my main character because you don't only have to control Cloud or anything. You can make someone else like your main character to
Be the
walk
party
around.
leader, yeah.
And I remember using Aerith quite a lot.
That's so cool though, right? Like you don't even have to just use Cloud. You can
Yeah, that's
you can
always
pick
fun.
a bunch, you know.
just walk
Yeah.
around. Yeah, I wish I could have done that as a kid.
And Yuffie does
Oh,
seem like
yeah.
she'd be really fun to play as because she's very. Because here's what I always think of too with Final Fantasy specifically as well is like because my first Final Fantasy of course was 10, so to me I'm like, okay, so Cloud is Tidus and Barrett is what Wakka, and then so
Yeah.
Yuffie would be my Riku. So I'm trying to figure out where they fit,
Oh,
and Aerith
Riku.
being my Yuna.
Kimari.
Kimari. Which one is
Fucking love
Kimari
Kimari.
Ranso?
Is there a
Red
blue
13.
mage?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Is
furries
there a
together.
blue mage in 7? Who's the closest blue mage?
I think you get blue magic. Like you don't really have like specific roles in 7 like you do in some of the later ones.
Yeah.
That's why
Feels
I
a lot-
liked
yeah.
12 as well, because you could switch up what everyone used. Like, I remember
Right.
having Fran as like the battle axe, huge like weapon, like just tanking everything,
Yeah.
smashing everything up, and you know, Pinello as well with the great swords. Even though they're canonically they're using, you know, the like
They were
oh,
like white
no.
magic too, weren't they? Before?
Right, yeah, and and I loved being able to just completely change that in that game. That was fantastic. I love that game so much. But I guess it's kind of similar with this, is that you could change up the classes depending on what material you use
Yeah.
and what you level up and what you choose to sort of like focus on.
I
'Cause
like
there
that.
is,
Yeah.
and what is the leveling up system again? I forget. It's like it's not this. Obviously, there's like the sphere grid, but in this, it's
Sphere grid will always
I
be
think it's
best.
just-
It's
That's
just
what I
similar,
think.
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
agree,
biased
I agree.
though.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I
was
was
just-
drunk.
I was just thinking that, like, because I was thinking about this last night with some of the bigger bosses and the kind of bigger set pieces. Was I feel like Seven Remake and some of the more like modern Final Fantasy games are kind of inspired in part by Final Fantasy XIV's raid mechanics.
Okay.
You know, that kind of idea of having phases and, you know, set attacks that you need to use a certain tactic on. And I feel like there is a lot more focus on, like, oh, you need to heal, you need to, like, debuff, you need to buff, that kind of thing. And they kind of, to me as well, definitely have that epic scale of a big, like, raid boss in 14. Sometimes, like, you know, where you're just like, oh my god, this is so big, how am I gonna do, like, you see that health bar of the enemy,
Yeah.
and it's just going down so slowly, and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna be here, you know. But it doesn't feel like a grind. It does feel like, you know, like, oh, I've just, you know, I've adapted my tactics to this phase, you know, and that's working, and then I've adapted it to this phase, and I do feel there's a little bit of the MMO kind of influence creeping in, which is great, like, you know.
Yeah, and you can also see influences from games like Dark Souls and that kind of thing as well.
I think in the original game you could just kind of like, if you were struggling on a boss and it was like completely a skill issue, like you should have approached it differently, you should have healed more, you should have used a different
Yeah.
spell, right? But in the original game I felt like you could just like level up and then come back and then just stop punching it again and
Yeah.
eventually die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where in this, I felt like you had to change your strategy. You know, like when you're going against the house or whatever, or all those other weird, like, specific enemies, you had to change up the way you were playing to actually deal with them, which I thought was really good. Yeah,
it
'cause,
kept you thinking a bit more, didn't it? Like, you know, you didn't get lazy and complacent, because admittedly, like, yeah, in the original it was a bit grindy sometimes, when you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go around this area and kill the same enemy.
and then I'll just
50
overpower
times.
the boss, and then
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter if I'm not using the correct magic spell.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah, and you're just hammering, like, fight,
Yeah.
fight, heal, fire. You know?
Mhm.
yeah.
And you
Yeah.
get into those death cycles where you're just
Oh,
chain
yeah.
just
Heal,
circling
heal,
around.
Phoenix down, Phoenix down, Phoenix down.
Yeah.
They're
Oh
all
my
alive.
gosh.
They're all dead. Phoenix down, Phoenix down, Phoenix down.
Yeah, I think that's what makes the combat in these new, the remake and, you know, the Rebirth, is that the combat is so dynamic. Obviously, you can play it turn-based, but, you know, I feel like if you can definitely have an edge if you can get like the shortcuts on like the you know, you can like press certain buttons to do like a certain ability, so you don't
Yes,
have to
yeah.
go through the
Mm.
menu and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that can, you know, just practicing and getting to know the game can give you quite a huge edge in, you know, going through the game. You don't necessarily have to like really grind out
Yeah.
the levels like it does feel in some of the previous installments. Like, in order to progress, you would definitely have to just like keep leveling, you know, keep grinding. So I think that's like a good difference. I
Yeah.
feel is that it seems to like you know, it's more focused on you experiencing the story and like the narrative, rather than like, oh no, you've got to put in the hours. I
Yeah.
think there's so much of the story to experience that they don't want to get you held up on like banging your head against a wall just trying to defeat that one boss, you know.
Yeah. That was my
it's,
least favorite part in like a lot of the games, was because they're older, so I think it was like, you know, having so many hours of gameplay where you're just like, for me it was going out into the Comlands and fighting the same quarrels or whatever over and over again,
Oh
because
my
then I
goodness.
was stuck on the next thing. So
Yeah.
Osmone Plains and going into the what was it called? It was like the underground section of, oh no, I'm thinking of 12. I'm sorry. I'm thinking.
I know what you mean in
again.
12, actually. Yeah.
Oh God, they gave you so many. Anyway, yeah, just like having those specific locations where you'd have to keep going back. But I think 7 Remake feels a lot less.
Like backtredy.
Yeah, there isn't really
Mm.
much opportunity to go back and like.
Yeah, I mean, you do end up going like through that tunnel to Sector 7 quite a few times.
That's true.
There's like a few areas that you know, because you have to travel around Midgar a lot.
Mm.
Then eventually you can get the Chocobo Porters, can't you?
Oh yeah, the Chocobo
Yeah.
taxi service sort of thing.
It does feel like it's better paced as well. Like it will have like story, maybe a little bit of a corridor bit, you
Mhm.
know, the bit boss story, big thing,
Yeah.
and then a calmer section where you can kind of take things at your own pace, explore around a little bit, do some side quests, restock, you know, talk to Chandler or whatever his name was, and then it ramps up again to like a bit more of a storyline kind of, you know, corridor, big epic story, big boss. Okay, now we're back down to a calmer bit where you can, and I do like that where it's like,
I
yeah,
found that if you did the side quest, you didn't need to grind anywhere else because you'd just get enough XP from doing those.
That's nice to
Yeah.
hear too, because I haven't played it yet, and I know that's definitely something that kind of puts me off playing games sometimes, where I'm like, okay, I know I've got to put so many hours into, like, you know, because a lot of times I'll choose the option where it's like standard or hard or like story based, where it's like, okay, how well do I think I'm going to play this game? Would I rather, because I love the story of them, like have the kind of combat take a back seat, but it's still fun to do, so
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, like, I have no shame. I will probably play it on easy, just as I don't think it will, like Duncan says though, I don't think it will impact you that much if you're like really into doing the side missions and things. But I'm very much like, I just want to eat the story. Let me let me
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
the
just live in the
story.
world. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Like, I
Mm.
think and that's what makes the remake and what they're doing with, you know, the 3 different parts or however many parts is, if you want to experience the story, then
I mean,
you can.
I think
And
I played through it on easy because
Mhm.
yeah,
I had to, because there was no option for a hard turn-based mode at
Oh.
release. But I think they added it later on. But at release, it wasn't there.
well,
Oh.
I
Play
think
through
it's
easy.
standard. No, I think it gives you a couple options potentially.
I think it does now.
But-
I don't think it did at the time.
Right,
Oh,
just for the
okay.
turn-based option.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, they love to give players that sort of replayability
Yeah.
element, don't they? So that's why, you know, they give you like a new game plus or whatever else to sort of change things up or
I always love
make it a
those
bit more
too,
different.
depending on what you can carry over in New Game Plus.
Oh yeah, they're always good.
Can I be a bit of a nerd and do a show and tell? Because
Yeah.
I actually completely forgot this happened until I opened up my Final Fantasy VII case. But yeah, on one of those trips to Japan, interviewing some of the Final Fantasy guys, I realized I actually got some of them to sign
Oh my god.
my manual. So that's signed by Yoshinori Kitase, who's the director of both the original and co-director of the new ones.
What?
Signed by Motomu Toriyama, who was the event planner. He was a wee bab in the original, and now he's a co-director of Remake and Rebirth. And I'll be honest, I'm an awful person. I cannot remember who did the Moogle, and I'm trying to figure it out, but I can't remember. Like, I'll have to go through my diaries and figure out who it was that I interviewed at the time. But yeah, that was just such a
That's
lovely little thing
incredible.
they did
That is
for
very
me.
cool. Very jealous.
Yes.
It's cool to do a stream for, you know, that Square Enix asked us to do, but also, as a Kim fan, it is really cool to do a Final Fantasy, like a round table talk with Kim. Has been really pleasant and really nice.
Oh, bless you. I've kept a lot of the nerd stuff away because I was like, they don't want a lecture on like
No, I love that.
No,
the
Please,
Please, at all
creation of the
times,
Fabula
go off.
Nova Crystallis universe. You don't need that lecture in your
need
life,
it.
guys. Like, you know, you're young, be free.
No, I love it.
That'll be my TED talk. Is let me tell you about the development of the Final Fantasy 13 series.
Should we I guess, like, we're coming to the end of, we're nearly out of time, but should we go around and just sort of ask everyone what we're kind of hoping for this Rebirth to sort of bring, and, like, you know, as Final Fantasy fans, whether they're you know, whether you've played the remake or not, or obviously I think it's only Boba that hasn't played the remake, but you're probably going to now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I want to experience it like on the couch, I think, is how I want to do it. Sit on the couch, play it on the TV, and like really just get into it.
Okay. So what is your expectation of it then, Boba? What would you say you're kind of expecting from Rebirth, as you know, what are you hoping to experience?
I'm an easy customer, and I would like to be able to dress up my Barbies. So if there's like costume changes and collectibles and things like that in the game, I really enjoy that. And then just progressing through the story, I think, and seeing it, because there's such a difference going from like playing it on the sort of limited graphics that they had, but that were still pretty revolutionary back in the day, and then seeing it fleshed out into a world that is like not only three-dimensional, but is something that you can like imagine yourself in too. So that's what I'm excited for, I think.
Yeah, cool. G, what about you, G?
God, it has been quite some time since I've played the original, but like it left off at such a intense point in the remake. So I've been like just edging for 4 years. Like I want to know what's going on. What are they gonna change? What's gonna be different? What are they keeping? You know, it's all exciting because it's, you know, they're leaving Midgar and they're going to the Forgotten Capital, I think, right? And I think there's like a bunch of other stuff that they're probably going to keep for the third installment, if it is going to be a 3-parter. So I'm interested in, you know, what they are going to cover, what they're going to keep the same, what they're going to change. You know, I'm excited to see a bunch of the characters that we've discussed, like Zach and Vincent. You know, what's that going to mean for the characters that we already have introduced in the remake, and how are they going to change those? It's so exciting. I am so excited.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be good.
How about you, Duncan? What are you thinking? What are you hoping?
I'm excited to see how they deal with like the exploration and travel of like the world. Like how like is there going to be a map? Is there going to be vehicles? I don't really know how it's going to work.
Yeah, that's true, because there's usually like an airship or something, isn't
Yeah.
there, to get them around,
We'll
or
get
they're
the
just
Highwind
like
eventually, I
a
assume.
a ship
striding
and
across.
a boat or something, and a chocobo.
Okay.
A chocobo, yeah.
At least in the old
see.
one.
Because it's such a big world, there has to be a way to like travel around, and I just wonder how they're going to deal with that. And also, I'm just excited to be like surprised about what's changed, judging after the ending of remake, like what's gonna how that's gonna affect things and how things are gonna be different.
Cool. And Kim, what are you hoping for? What's your dreams, your hopes and dreams?
So everything everyone said here so far, but I also am really looking forward to Sid, because he was one of my faves in the original. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, hopefully, like we get a bit more of his backstory. I mean, there's a little bit about, you know, him being a pilot and stuff like that. So I'm hoping they still bring that in, and maybe, you know, a bit more Sid time. I love him. I always loved his Dragoon ability, like where he leaps up and then you wait a turn. You wait a turn.
Yes.
Like, yeah, he was one of the OG Dragoons, like, you know, or modern day Dragoons, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see him. And also just because I'm a thirsty human being, just more Sephiroth.
Yeah.
just more Sephiroth leveling up as his, like, bad guy plan, you know, goes into place, and, like, being even more OP. Like, I can't wait for that, yeah.
Awesome. Ped, how about you?
I linked an image in Discord.
Okay.
I don't know why there's a goose in it though. But right at the start, I think is gonna be like this big boss fight, which was like the first really hard boss. I felt like. So for those of you
on stream,
yes, for those of you in chat, and
I remember
wondering,
this.
I'll post
I don't-
the link in my chat, but
I don't know why there's a goose on the screen.
oh, that's not gonna work, is it?
It's like from that Goose game.
But
Let me instead let me just put it over on my source as an image.
Actually, yeah, that's
There
a
you go,
really
too.
good point.
so this is gonna be like one of the first bosses in this
Covering
new,
Ped with
like,
it.
area, right? And yeah, I'm kind of I remember it took me so long to beat it, And then when you finally beat it and you go over to the cave on the other side, you see like this really high quality like image of like something Sephiroth did, and you see the blood and you see the big boss that you just took so long defeating or running away from or
I
or whatever,
ran away
'cause you
from
don't
it
have-
because
you
it
don't have
was
to
too
kill it.
hard.
Chases you in that swamp, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I trained up forever just so I could kill it, and I was like, why did I do that? But like, I think after I saw that where he's like impaled it on a tree, I was like, holy crap!
Yeah.
This is
Pretty
wild.
terrifying.
serious business.
Well,
yeah.
it's,
I
from
wanna
the
see-
standpoint of not leveling up to fight it, and you're like running away from this thing that you know will destroy you, and then you get to the
Yeah.
other side, and he's already killed it, and you're like,
I think that's the way it's
shit.
intended.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just a little babby.
This guy's a big deal, isn't he?
yeah.
I'm looking forward to how they, because it is an epic moment. Like in the image, you can see like the thunder in the background, and it's like dark and it's like bloody. Like it's a very dark and interesting moment. But I'm curious how they're gonna translate it and if it will come across as epic or if it
I
even
hope
happens
they
at all.
show
Might not
us
even
Sephiroth fighting it. Wouldn't that be cool?
True.
If they give us like
Yeah.
They
a
do love
More
showing
Sephiroth.
us Sephiroth. So
Yeah.
don't worry.
and maybe he'll have his
More.
shirt off while he does it.
What about you, Rose?
Oh,
I
dear.
feel like that there's something about finding that though without actually seeing him do it is like more sinister.
Yeah,
you
you're right, yeah.
kind of just happen upon it, and it's like, oh, holy shit! That was not
Yeah,
expecting
you're right.
that. I think for me it's a development of like the characters and the interpersonal relationships of the characters. I mean, as you can obviously tell, like I'm very invested in the romantic side of this.
Yeah.
But I think apart from that, like again, I mentioned the Golden Saucer and seeing how like fantastic that's going to be rendered in PS5 glory is like so exciting. And things like Costa del Sol, there's like so many little things that you can buy a property there, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could buy like a house, couldn't you?
You can buy a house there, and I'm like, I can't imagine they would not include that because that is just so nichely.
Maybe you can
there's no-
decorate it. Can you imagine if you can decorate
Yeah, oh no.
my gosh. And it
That's like 10
becomes-
hours there.
But I think that completely, I think it becomes redundant after you get the high wind. So I'm not too sure. I mean, it's whether
yeah,
or
but to
not.
be fair, that might be a 50-hour difference.
That's true. That is true. So, but there's all these like, small references or small things that do happen in the original that I feel like I'm excited to see like how they're gonna translate that. Like Ped was saying with the those sort of iconic moments that you've known in your head, or as you were a kid, you've known them, and then seeing them like just reimagined and like, whoa, this is better than I ever expected it was going to look and how it was going to affect me. So yeah, I'm just excited to go on that ride again, just to feel some feels and gosh, can't wait.
Cry.
Yeah,
Cry
cry. I'm
buckets.
excited
Escape-
to
escape
cry.
the world for a few days,
Go through the
yeah.
trauma. Yeah. Can't wait. But yeah, oh gosh, it's been really, really fun talking about it as well with such a good group of nerds.
It's nice for me because, like I said, like when I originally played this, it was unusual, especially in that time for a girl to play video
Yeah.
games. And I went to an all-girls school in this country, so that was just
Wow,
like
yeah.
a unicorn. I had no one to talk to about like my Final Fantasy obsession and my fanfics.
So I borrowed it off a friend, right? But
Yeah.
he was still playing it, so he was on. I couldn't play disc 1 until he'd finished it,
Oh,
and then I couldn't play disc 2 until
no.
he'd finished it.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
No,
Oh,
So
it is
it's nice to like have
though.
everyone to talk to, like and just like obsess over tiny details and like like the back characters and stuff like that. And like it is really nice, and hope everyone in the audience, like if you go out and get Rebirth, you can obsess with us as well.
Yeah. You'll know exactly what all these weird references, and maybe at some point Kim will release her fan fiction as well.
Yeah.
Get it published.
I mean, that's gonna have to be some kind of like we're gonna have to hit some really serious stream goals. Like it is locked in that drawer. And, like, I don't think anyone needs that in their life.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Unless
Yeah, I'll just go get myself cancelled first.
Oh my gosh. They'll release the Kim archives. The Kim tapes.
The Kim tapes.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, that's what it'll be. It'll be like, yeah, my exercise books with my feverishly written.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Square Enix, for having me.
Yes, thank you, Square Enix, for having us all. It's been marvelous, and yeah, I hope they'll ask us back again to discuss some more
Yeah.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy related fun. So
Oh, I'd love to nerd over any of the stuff that we're obviously all inevitably going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So to sort of have
Were
a
you there for
discussion
that?
around that.
Even that photo contest we did.
Yes,
we did
yes.
That was really fun.
I was.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember
I love that.
nearly submitting the one of Jesse's poisoned father.
Oh,
as
my
something
goodness.
that some,
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh my god.
Or-
That's what I was
Oh.
remembering.
I eventually went for just a lovely picture of cats to send to
Yeah.
someone, but we had to sign them and send them to
Yes.
Um,
You showed us. You submitted a bunch of photos, and it was just Jesse's dad dying in bed.
Oh my god,
like-
Oz.
oh, imagine being a fan and you get a printout of that. Like, cool. What do I do
Imagine
with
he's
this
your
now?
favorite
Who's this
character
man?
too.
who's this man? What's he
This
doing?
man.
Oh.
Oh, that's what it was. When you started to describe it, I'm like, wait, I have a weird memory of this.
trying to like
Classic
regress
OG.
that somewhere.
My secret shame. That
G
is
had
one thing I
buried
would
it.
like in the next one is a button that means you can pet the cats, because you can't pet the cats in the first one.
Oh
If
my
you're gonna put a
God.
cat in your game, I'm gonna pet it.
Is that in
Yeah.
Cloud's character though? Do you think he would pet cats?
I
Is
think
that
he would
what's
now.
stopping
I
it?
think he would in the
Yeah.
second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
A tentative,
Okay.
like, a really
I
awkward.
think you would. Yeah.
Okay.
Awkward.
Because he's
head
learned,
pat.
he's grown.
Mhm.
You
He
know.
is.
Do you
What I
think
will
they'll
say is-
let you do that for Kate Sith then too, or will he he'll bat your hand
Oh.
away?
Offensive. Might be
Yeah.
a bit offensive. Yeah.
Oh, he's a friend.
How are they gonna deal with Kate Sith?
I'm
That's a weird
intrigued. Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
I was going to say, in the demo, there was a lot of cats I saw, so you'll be pleased to know there's no lack of cats to look
Nice.
at and take pictures of in the photo mode.
That's what I want
10
to
out of 10.
hear. That's what I want to hear.
That's all right, we're sorted.
Nice.
10 out of 10. 5-star
10 out
game.
of 10 game of the year. All
Yeah.
right, I guess that'll do us then. So,
Yeah.
thank you all for joining all of us. It's been
Yes.
marvelous. And remember to please click our links. It really helps us all out very, very, very much. And if you've liked the sound of what we've been talking about, you should definitely check out the demo, and possibly consider pre-ordering or purchasing Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's going to
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah, and if it
Um,
is your first time joining the series, as Ped said earlier, get that digital deluxe
That
bundle that has
yeah.
Both
that
of
has
them.
remake in it for barely a price increase.
Wait, it's
Get
the
get
same
it.
price.
It's the same
It's
price.
the same price. The
Yeah.
same
You
price.
can pre-order
free.
the new game and get the other one for free. It's,
Exactly.
Why not,
You'd be
then?
mad not to.
Yeah.
So make sure
Yeah.
you do that.
And it's with games these days, I feel like this one is something that I've never felt like I haven't. That there's some AAA titles where you're kind of like, is it really worth the price point? But this
Yeah.
one, hands down, like I don't know, I got
We've got
so
some
much
good
enjoyment.
bundles. Yeah, like
Yeah.
especially
Good
what-
50 hours of
Mhm.
amazing story,
Yeah.
Yeah.
incredible graphics, and amazing music.
And a classic game that you can experience now in this year, in this day and age, instead of having to go
In
back
this
and play the
day
old one. In this
Yeah.
time.
Awesome. Right. Well, I shall let you all go and fantasize about your
the
favorite...
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
Fantasize about fantasy.
Can I go have
finals.
my Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, go and get that demo, Duncan. I recommend it.
Okay.
Well, you
Um,
said you can play Sephiroth, so I'm out the door.
Fair.
You'll see Kim in
That's
about
nice.
like 2 weeks or something once she emerges from her Kim
Mad-eyed.
cave. Yeah.
Cool. All
Awesome.
right.
All right, everyone.
Cool. Is
See you
anyone streaming
later.
after this, or is anyone carrying on?
No,
I'm
I'm done.
No.
I'm done for the day. I've been live for like 6-7 hours now.
Oh my
so,
gosh.
Oh
yeah.
shit. Oh,
Yeah, I'm done.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Thank you, Square Enix, for sponsoring us. Thank you to everyone who watched us. Go and check out the demo, or consider, grabbing one of the amazing bundles that are on offer through our links. And we're grateful, and thank you for watching us. We'll
Yeah, thanks for watching.
catch you
everyone.
guys. Catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
See ya.